Captain, or Commander, I should say. Uh, would you grace us with a log, please?
Commander's log, stardate A525 Mark IV. Alright, it's been in 24 hours since we've encountered the Scream of the Reach at the Kamatsun system and encountered the mysterious alien object on the Kamatsun surface. After a brief interlay with the USS Lethbridge, who was bringing personnel and civilians to Andon's Landing, who are also intercepted by the Reach. We are now on our way back to the Kamatsu to continue our scientific, engineering, and anthropological studies there for the next few days. With pirate activity this deep into Federation territory, I am worried about what they could find and what we would find down on the surface. Hopefully, he all turns out as it should. End log.
And we open with the Artemis approaching high or entering high orbit of Simitsa 3. Whereupon you guys still have the personnel of the listening post still in your sick bay, and you have several prisoners in your brigs, and some wreckage still tumbling in the star system. But not a whole lot has occurred in the Simitsa system since you left it.
Okay, and we still have the listening post personnel in sick bay. We talked with the doctor and they're ready to be released.
Actually, that seems like a good point as any.
It does.
To check in with the new doctor who was brought along for the Lethbridge, Lieutenant Commander Kamor, Dr. Kamor.
Either is fine.
And you've had some chance, you've had some time to get acclimated to your sick bay. And, well, you have several officers who were on the listening post of Simitsa 3 who were held hostage for a short period of time. They were roughed up a bit, but thankfully weren't too badly hurt.
Okay.
But
Psychological trauma for being held captive.
I would ask you to for a insight medicine roll, difficulty 2.
Okay, and I have not used this dice roller, so I do. What would I do for this?
Okay, so you open up your character sheet.
Right.
You highlight insight medicine.
Got it.
You
think
have
I
at
have
least
a focus for this. Unless xenobiology would work.
I'll give it to you actually.
Okay. And then complication range is 1, right?
Yes.
And task is 2.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Unless you want to spend threat for more to get extra dice.
What's my difficulty here?
2.
2. How much threat do we have already? 10? Is that right?
Yes.
Sure. Maybe I can get some momentum.
Okay, how many dice do you buy? 1, 2?
Just 1.
Just 1, so 1 threat.
Yeah, I gotta get us some momentum.
Nice.
so you gained a momentum. Checking over the officers, they were a bit shooken up when they were first brought on board the Artemis, but since they've had some time to be aboard and be somewhat assured that they're safe and that there's the Artemis is nearby and all that, well, they've been aboard the Artemis the last few hours. But it seems everyone is fairly fine. The staff here have been kind of attending to them well enough, and most of the people who are aboard the ship are in quarters. Some are just here just to be under observation because the observation period hadn't passed.
In my professional opinion, are they good to return to duty, or should they be given a respite?
They're good to go back to duty. They might want to have extra. They might want to put in for some leave time, but they're probably going to get cycled
Nothing
out.
immediate.
Yeah, nothing immediate.
Okay. Have I been calm to ask that question?
I would go down personally.
Oh.
Person.
You'd ask. We're just standard orbit, so I can bridge.
Okay.
I'm Doctor. I'm
Captain.
sorry, I'm not familiar with it's Kamir? Kamor. Thank you.
You can just call me Doctor if it's easier.
I'm Commander Ray of the USS Artemis. Welcome aboard.
It's a pleasure.
I'm assuming you've had time to look over our resident listen post personnel.
I apologize for not making the briefing or previously. There were a few injured from the left bridge.
Understandable. I was wondering if it was safe to drop these people back off at the listening post.
Yes, I believe so. No major injuries. They might want to put in for some leave coming up, but nothing immediate. Should be fine to go back to duty.
No lingering injuries.
Not that I have seen. Nothing that's come up on my scans.
Okay. Is Lieutenant Barrett there, or is quarters?
He's there, yeah.
Okay. Yes, Lieutenant Barrett.
Sir?
We've seemed to have secured the system. Sorry to kind of drag you across the sector for the past couple hours, but everything calm down for now. If you and your men would like to return to duty, I'll be happy to drop you off.
Very good, sir. I'll assemble the men. Are we going to be taking shuttle, or should we transporting over, sir?
I'll transport you over yourself. But speaking of a shuttle, I wanted to commission you a Type 7 and shuttle to be stationed at the listening post for your use to allow a bit more maneuverability, maybe some excursions down to the planet, or possible defensive reasons.
As you say, sir. Thank you for your generosity, sir.
Well, we want to make sure that our science gets done, and that the Scream of the Reach doesn't interfere with it.
Aye, sir.
We should be making our way to the listening post in a few hours.
Well, that'll give me plenty of time to arouse anyone who decided to sleep on the way here. He grins. But we'll be ready to go, sir.
Sounds good. You're dismissed.
Aye, sir. And he starts attending to the last few people who are just waiting around and gets ready to move the listening post officers out of the sick bay.
Is there anything else you needed, Captain? I was told there were some prisoners down in the brig. Have they received any medical attention?
They received medical attention? They have not received any medical attention at this point. If you would like to go down with myself and Mira as we view them, make sure that they're safe, and then we'll give medical care as needed.
Yes.
I was about to head down there myself.
Give me one moment.
Okay.
He'll like turn around and his tail will grab a tricorder and some other things, and he'll just start putting them into a medical case, I guess.
And this time I'll call for our Commander Tamira to meet the brig.
If you're ready, Captain.
I am ready.
On my way.
And as you guys head down, I'm going to ask our good security chief, Lieutenant Thala, for an insight security roll, difficulty 1, just to see if you've noticed anything odd or strange about your prisoners who are aboard the ship.
Okay. Insight security.
Oops.
Am I in the wrong tab or something?
Oh, hit the little cog next to sheet.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Gotcha. All right. Insight and security. I forget? Do I need to change where it says task roll?
Default is 2.
Okay. Oh yeah, right. Okay, I kind of remember now you said it. Okie doke. 1 success.
So you get that there has some of your subordinates have taken it upon themselves to rearrange how the prisoners originally were. 2 of the prisoners were from the listening post boarding party, and they were originally in 2 separate cells. But when you got a huge influx of prisoners from Zemutza 3, they decided to move the listening post prisoners into 1 cell and then try to fit in as many of the other prisoners as they could into the other brigs.
Okay.
You're also informed that by security that it seems the command staff, the commander, and is attending to the prisoners.
The commander is? Okay. So do I foresee or do I believe that having the 2 from the listening post in the same cell could present a problem?
It's possible prisoners who know each other might conspire to escape.
Right.
It might have been an oversight on your subordinates' parts.
Well, it's simple enough for him to move one of them to another cell if that's the only issue I can think of.
Do you want to assign them into where one of the other Simitsa 3 ones, or you want to open up another brig? There's several aboard the ship. It's just a matter of manpower for the multiple rooms, because each room only really needs 1 security guy to hold it.
Right. I mean, I would think if I just switch someone from another cell with one of the outpost ones, as long as they're in separate cells, I wouldn't think we'd need to open up a second brig.
Or 4th, rather.
Or 4th, okay.
So,
yeah, I mean, that seems like that would be sufficient to keep them.
Are the guys with red X's, are they KO'd?
Yeah.
Okay.
So were you saying the commander was visiting them at the moment, or?
He intends to, yeah, because the security staff would have been made aware where the commander's headed. It's like, just letting you know the commander's going down there.
Oh, okay.
Because they have to know they have to keep him safe too.
Sure. Well, I'll make sure I'm there before he arrives to look everything over again, make sure everything is as it should be, double, triple check.
Now the question is, which one are you guys visiting first?
Is it the Federation inspired or work first?
And Thala, give me another insight security roll. Difficulty 1. Just as you're doing a quick. Actually, I'll give you reason security instead, as you check over everything as people are starting to file in.
Okay. I have the same insight as reason, so I'm not sure if that makes a difference or not. But, well, that's better.
Gain yourself a moment. Gain the team a momentum. Thankfully, everything seems fine. Since most of the people aren't conscious, there wasn't a whole lot for the security guy to worry about. But force field's fine. Prisoners were searched for weapons, all that fun stuff. So by the time Commander Ray walks in with Lieutenant Commander Tamira and a new face that you've been briefed is actually you probably would have met him on board the
Yeah, I
Left
was going to
Bridge.
say I should know him from my ship, the last ship I was on.
Yeah, and he wasn't on the bridge because well he's the doctor. He's not supposed to be. He's not normally up there. You were only up there for a very specific reason.
Only in Next Generation was the doctor on the bridge all day.
You know, it gets boring down in sick bay.
But yeah, the three of them walk in. The three of you notice that Thala's, standing behind one of the consoles along with one of the security officers, checking over things.
All right, I want to do an insight check on the prisoner. Kind of like watch his section as I walk in, and an empath check.
What are you checking for?
Is he nervous? Confident? And just how does he react to the commanders? Now I'm going to be interrogated.
I'll give it to you. Surface thoughts. He's a little alarmed. Not like scared, just more of a there's more security, and now there's even more people in here, and it's like like he's sitting a little straighter. He's starting to worry a little bit.
Trying to present himself as nope, I'm not a threat. I'm totally cool.
Yeah, I'm not rushing the field, not doing nothing. Don't shoot me,
Okay.
I'd like to start running medical scans on the prisoners.
To do that, you'll need to be let inside.
I see. Is it safe to enter the cell?
Lieutenant Thala, how's our prisoner been?
Nothing unusual to note. Everything seems to be in order, and no misbehavior so far on the parts of the prisoners.
I look at the prisoner, give him that stern eye look, and say, "Hey, stand against the far wall. Allow the doctor in."
Yeah, sure. He kind of gets up and gingerly kind of moves around the unconscious people and presses himself against the wall.
I nod to Thala and the doctor. Okay.
Thank you. Please lower the force field.
Do so.
Whoops. Oh no.
Excuse me.
Pull the force field down. He doesn't make any movement. He looked for a brief moment, Ray, you can kind of sense he wants to try something, but he thinks better of it when he kind of looks at how many of you there are of you and how many of him there are.
I'm probably a pretty intimidating sight by myself.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? I'm cool. I'll stay in here.
How big are you, Thala?
I didn't actually put together like a height or whatever, but I mean, most of the ones I've seen have been like really tall and really broad, and I do have a presence of 11 and a fitness of 10, so I'd think I'm pretty.
Oh yeah, you fill the room.
Yeah.
I guess I need to look up what the average height for an Orion is. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
But if pretty big fits, we'll go with that right now.
Okay, I'll step into the cell and start scanning the unconscious ones first.
I enter with him.
You find if you go in as well, it's gonna be very crowded in there.
Oh, okay. I was overestimating the size. Well, I still keep a close watch, obviously.
Yeah. It wouldn't be so bad, except that 3 of them are laying down. And one of them's kind of in the room with the doctor. It's kind of cramped. But yes. Doctor, give me Reason Medicine difficulty 2. Once you get back, because the thing kicked everyone out.
I was going to ask, did anybody else have a thing where it said your connection?
Yeah.
Refresh?
It's slowly refreshing.
Oh, I might mix people around.
Okay, what is this? Inside medicine?
Yes.
Gotcha. Would my xenobiology work for this? What are these, humans?
It's a mixture of a human, a Klingon, and 2 unidentified aliens.
Ooh, unidentified aliens.
Mainly because no one in medical bay bothered checking them. The Klingon and the human are plainly obvious, but
okay. Well, so xenobiology or maybe investigative techniques. I don't know. That was kind of broad.
I'll give you a xenobiology.
Okay. Three success.
Oh, get a momentum. The human. Oh, you're tricking the unconscious people. What am I doing?
Start with the unconscious people.
So those 3. As I recall, they were, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys. They were taken out by a explosion.
I believe so. Yes.
Or was it a wide beam phaser? I forget which.
All of the above.
Yes.
So there's some energy burns that they've all suffered. Nothing fatal, but it probably hurt a lot.
Okay. I'll pull out a dermal regenerator and I'll wait till I review.
The Klingon seems to have taken it the best. Klingons being Klingons are pretty hardy to begin with, so that one has a rather direct blast, and it looks to be a bit of a concussion. Which is saying something for a Klingon. It's very hard to concuss a Klingon.
Can I
those
identify
bone.
the 2 unidentified aliens?
Say again?
Can I identify the 2 previously unidentified aliens?
Sure. For a momentum, I'll tell you.
Sure.
After a bit more examination, it would seem these 2 are Zamutzians. They're people specifically from this planet, a pre-warp culture.
A pre-warp culture, interesting. Is these people, is this breaking the Prime Directive? I don't know the complete situation here.
Yeah, if they were to regain consciousness and realize, oh shit, there's aliens and oh shit, I'm among them, that would be in violation of the Prime Directive.
I see.
Whoops.
How did these Zamitzians get with the Klingon and the human?
I'm assuming they were part of the forces that attacked you, Commander Tamara?
They are indeed, Captain.
Which is troubling. Let's do our best to keep them unconscious for now, and we will return them to their people later today, or at a later time.
I would recommend avoiding that situation, Commander. Cultural contamination could apply here.
We don't know the extent of the contamination, but
they were with the individuals.
I agree with Lieutenant Commander Tamira, I believe. If they were working with the Klingon and human, they have possibly already been contaminated.
I've never seen them, says the guy standing there.
lesser of two evils. Let's we'll give them medical care, stabilize them, and all that, and then we'll find out the extent of the cultural contamination in later.
Of course.
In the
Yeah.
meantime, you, sir, what's your name? As I approach the prisoner.
While he's doing that, I'll slowly scan the bridge.
My name's Graham Warwick. Pleasure to meet you. And he kind of looks over at the doctor as he's being scanned. He kind of balks a little bit, like he thinks you're going to do something to him until he realizes all you're doing is scanning. And he looks back at Ray.
I don't bite all the time.
Sure you don't.
I'm Commander Leandris Ray of the starship Artemis. We found you aboard a Federation enlisting post, attempting sabotage and illegal activities on board.
Oh, yeah?
Which means we could put you away in a Federation prison for a very, very long time unless as you talk to us.
Oh, I know how this goes. I want a lawyer. He folds his arms.
Unfortunately,
database?
Lawyers no longer exist. That was me at a game.
Oh.
Yeah.
They do.
They do
Not really.
exist.
They do.
No.
I mean, there's
Well,
Jag.
they have people.
There's representatives, but there's really no such thing as lawyers.
Fair enough.
Look, he does Hollow thing. He goes to Holodecks. He's seen lawyers. That's how it works. He gets a lawyer or something.
He's
He
read
is-
the original Federation charter.
Does that include Section 31 of the Charter?
They highlight they use whiteout on.
He is authorized for legal representation, Captain. However, the nearest legal facility is approximately 7 days away.
Approximately. That'll be a very, very long time. I'm to be sitting in a brig on these cold, hard beds.
Well, I don't got to answer no more questions now, do I? So until I get that thing that the Vulcan lady said.
Can I make a roll on interstellar law? Figure out exactly how much leeway I have with him. Found him a military station.
You can give me reason con difficulty 2 to see if you can find a way to talk him around that way. Doctor, you can roll for me reason plus menace and difficulty 2 for the thing you noticed in your scans.
I'm gonna buy a dice with momentum.
Well, momentum gone.
And 2 back.
I'm guessing xenobiology does not respond to this one.
No.
Only one success.
Do you want to burn 2 momentum to counter the complication?
Oh, that was a complication? Then yes. I would not like to bite him at this moment.
Well, Virgin, stop. Go back there. To answer,
Momentum, I have cautious medicine.
Doctor, as you try to identify the substance, you're not entirely sure what it is. You'll need more time to look it up in the computers. You don't recognize it on site. To you, Commander Ray, he does have a right to one, to a representative and all that. He is a citizen. You can bring him back to your station and all that. But it's not unheard of to try to convince him to cut a deal of some kind with you now, rather than waiting till he gets through the civilian system.
Which would probably take months and months.
Yeah, so you do have an opportunity. It is legal for you to keep talking to him to a degree.
Do you mind if I take a blood sample?
Huh? What? Why?
I've noticed something strange in your system. I need to identify it.
No. I'm not fine with that.
Very well. I hope it's
The-
not addictive. Withdrawal is horrible.
You what? He just. I'm not going through withdrawal.
Not
He
yet.
looks at Ray and everyone else kind of.
That's what someone going through withdrawal would say.
Oh no, it hasn't kicked in yet. I give it 3 hours.
Maybe we should come back in 5 hours. Let him and think over his decisions while we push forward the legal system and get representatives set up for or you back on Starbase. What's the nearest Starbase besides ours?
There's Deep Space T1. And Outpost Andon's closer. If you're talking about a starbase, that's sectors away. You're talking like a week.
Yeah. Where's the one that's a week away?
I'm gonna ask for, given what you guys are doing. I'm gonna ask for your ranks. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna ask for Presence Command by Commander Ray. The Doctor can assist with Presence Medicine. Thala can assist with Presence Security.
I'll take a moment cautious. Focus and persuasion. Stellar law. Composure.
Persuasion. And for assists, I'm only gonna take. It's only one dice. So I'm just taking the first one that appeared.
Oh my bad.
My mistake.
It happens. Some of us do it even when we think we got it. It's like, oh, whoops. Oh, well, never mind.
Should it bother re-rolling or should I just them?
It's going to be opposed, so he's going to do great. You know what, buddy? I'll give you a threat. You know what? Maybe you'll
No, I'm gonna re-roll with my cautious.
Okay,
I would
sure.
save that
I
threat
know I
to
can do better than
minimize the withdrawal symptoms.
There we go.
I'll reroll one
No.
dice with cautious.
So I'll just
It's
take
only
that.
one dice. It's just
Yep.
the first one.
I'll just take the first one. 1, 2. He got 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 3 momentum gained as he tries to argue his way into not talking to you guys, but he really wants to get treatment. And he's kind of scared now. And he thinks he's going to get very, very sick.
It's just if you delay months and months on the
And
system, you're gonna be under constant maintenance.
And to assist with this, I just start quietly listing the effects of withdrawal.
Look, yeah, sure. Take the thing. Yeah.
Thank you. I take it.
Look, I didn't think what they gave me was poisonous. Well, I mean, sure, it's a drug, but nothing was gonna hurt me or nothing.
So what were you doing on the listing post?
Wow, it's just paid to take her. No one gets hurt. Stunning weapons all around. Standard hijack.
Why I list? Who paid you?
Oh, was this Klingon dude? Micleth? They all kind of sound the same.
Does
He worked for the
Same.
Scream. Or he said he did anyway.
And you're just as the middleman. You were just as paid to go in and take care of the station.
Well, yeah, pretty much. I even got this. I even got some free juice to help me move a bit faster, see a bit clearer.
Insight check. Was he lying and say he didn't work with them?
You can give me insight security difficulty 1. Kamor, you can give me a reason medicine roll difficulty 2. This time the ship will assist you with computers plus medicine.
Okay, can I use momentum on this?
1 momentum.
Yes, please.
Okay.
I don't suppose I have any focuses that applies to this.
Good thing I used that momentum.
And the ship, computers plus medicine.
I got the ship.
And to answer your question, Ray, it does seem that he's telling the truth, or at least as far as he remembers it.
So he's not a regular member of the Scream. It's just a contractor, so to speak.
That's a nice way to put it, but yeah.
A merc.
Yeah. Oh, and Doctor,
Can I use my cautious medicine on that one?
Yes, you can.
Reroll
Roll
one
it.
die.
Oh, you got it. Darn it. I'm gonna be shooting you information in Discord there, Doctor. About your Ray, you got the information of seeing what his seeing that he's at least he believes he's telling the truth, if nothing else.
What are you gonna do after you take the listening post?
Supposed to wait there until someone came by to take the place, really. And I got the other half of my payment.
Who's gonna come by? What ship? What vector?
I don't know.
You had to be waiting for someone specific. I'm sure, or seeing a Federation starship roll up didn't give you a $sign, as they say.
Well, look, I just take my credits and I take what I can get, and then I wait for the pickup. You take what you can. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be a fleet ship, but I mean, probably Klingon or something, or whatever the Reach thing is. Not really from around here, so.
Where did they? Hey, how are you at? Who is your contact?
It was what was his name? I think he was a Klingon. The Pioneer, the Vidi Nomad, something like that.
Captain, could I speak with you for a moment?
GM, that's the same Vidi Nomad that we heard of before. Could you remind me what ship that was?
Oops, I put in the GM overlay. Yep, that was the Tellurian civil ship that had stopped by Simitsa 3.
Okay. Yes, Doctor. Lieutenant Thala, lower the force field.
Sorry, my mic's acting up. So I do so.
Force field goes down and promptly comes back up once the Doctor steps away.
I'll get a little bit closer to the captain. Captain, just to make you aware, all of what he's saying may be clouded slightly. That thing they gave him to increase his strength has a cost, you may.
I just, without trying to give anything away.
Yes. It degrades the subject's memories, and if they do not continue taking the drug, it will cause brain damage. So when he says he doesn't know, he may truly not know.
I'm thinking the same thing, Doctor.
I should check the rest of the patients to see if they've also been injected with this chemical.
Let's do that.
Okay. Can I scan the Klingon and the 2 aliens again to see if they also have that in them, or just the human?
For a momentum, you can have it.
Sure.
Checking over your readings from before, it would seem these 3 do not have the drug in their system.
Excellent. Can this drug be replicated?
Possibly. It would take a bit of programming because it's not a drug that's normally in the database.
Right. Okay.
You don't even know what the proper name for it is.
Okay. Captain, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go check on the other prisoners.
Okay.
All of these simply need dermal regenerators. I'll send the nurse down immediately.
I will accompany you.
Thank you.
Yes, please. I'm almost down here. I'll join you. So, Mr. Warwick, who contacted? How did they get a hold of you to set up this deal? Who was your handler?
Well, I met them on. You see, I met them at the back in Galen, and there's if you know who to ask, you can get some work, and they were offering work, so and I needed something to get me through the day, so 2 for 1.
And who exactly did you ask? Name, race, hair color, something.
There's this Solarian looking fella. I think it was the guy that I talked to.
What was the race again? Tolarian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know his name. It pays not to ask, that sort of thing. And he set me up, told me where to go, what dock to meet up at, and off I went. And that's why I talk with the Klingon, whatever his name is.
Okay. And there was nothing else you remember about who paid you, who gave you the credits first, who hooked you up with the mission? Did you go straight from the dock to the listening post out there?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, the Klingon went out there.
How long ago?
How
long
I
ago
don't
did you
know,
left
some
the
time
Galen
ago.
system?
Probably a week or so at most, maybe more.
Is there anything else you want to tell me that might be beneficial?
I didn't hurt nobody, so there's that.
That remains to be seen. I do have one officer up there in critical condition.
I didn't do that.
You're the only one we found.
Not true. Found the Klingon too.
Well, we'll just let that sit unconscious for the next 5 hours.
Oh, okay.
And
So we good? I get to go free?
I signal the security officer to keep an eye.
Aye.
And I'll leave.
I give the prisoner my best scowl before I step away.
Oh, I thought you went with the doctor to see the other
Yeah,
people.
I was talking like see.
Oh, you were talking to the other officer. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Big ship. There's more than one.
Thankfully, you don't have to attend all the ones personally.
In the hallway, I kind of blow my cheeks. Well, coming as I thought, Mara. Perhaps the Klingon would be even less so. Do you have any insights on the situation?
I believe the Klingon would be much more forceful, Captain. I
That's
shall
what I was.
say, and put it in human terms, watch your back.
That's what I was afraid of. But we don't pick our battles; we just fight them.
We could use this man's addiction to whatever substance that he is on in our favor.
I'm not sure if that's ethical, and the doctor also said that withdrawal symptoms could involve brain degradation, which could hurt our case. I did.
Perhaps the doctor could come up with an alternative treatment plan to wean him off and prevent the degradation.
That is something we'll have to look into. In the meantime, we still have the Samutsan and who've apparently been playing in the interstellar playground. We don't know if they're willing participants or if they were or how forced or bystanders situation. And this complicates the Prime Directive.
There are ways around the Prime Directive, sir. This could be one of them.
Not the most ideal situation.
No, it is not.
Let's check in on our other prisoners and see where we're at. And I move into the other room.
Perhaps a security officer would be best suited to be with you, Captain.
I'll release you. I just wanted my second officer at hand for opinion and insight.
Of course.
We'll have a briefing in 2 hours.
Just
In the meantime, I do want to prepare an away mission and to study the alien and console more closely. If you can start assembling a team for that.
very well, Captain.
Dismissed. And I head off to the other brig.
And where does Tamara head off to?
Back to the doctor to make sure he's not causing any more trouble. Because if remember last time, he
that
almost
doctor.
got himself killed, and Tamira. So
I promise there will be less than like 20% Tamira casualties.
We'll check in with you two, with the doctor and the security guard first. Chief of security. Then we'll check in with Tamira and Magnus, and then we'll get back to Ray.
Okay, sounds good. Please lower the force field.
Aye.
And I'll save myself moving those around.
Okay, and I'll start scanning. Reason medicine?
Reason medicine, difficulty 1.
Okay. Xenobiology or no?
I'll give it to you.
How many momentum do we have?
3.
Difficulty 1, you said? I won't use 1. That was a mistake.
I would
Let's get rid of that complication.
I would say, hey, let's just take it because
How does determination work again? I'm not familiar with.
So what you would do is you can indicate which one of your values applies in this situation. And then if the GM green lights it, you can, in this case, you can do things like re-roll roll you just did. If you did it before you rolled, you would have an automatic success. So in this case, if you wanted to re-roll, you'd have to choose which of the values you think would be the reason why your character would have done better at this roll.
Okay, and then I get it back after the session? Is that how that works? It's like once a session kind of thing?
Yep, it's basically once a session. There are ways to get it during a game, but usually it's once a session.
Okay, I'll use my value. There's always something to learn. Would that work?
Yeah, I'll give that to you. Since I know what you're looking for.
Yep. Okay. Then
So you actually
I
might
do
not have
just the
lost.
same roll over again, right?
Yes.
At least it's a success.
So these 3 have the same problem as before. They got as the other 3 that were out. They're basically have phaser burns and whatnot. They seem okay overall.
Okay.
But it looks like one of them seems to be badly hurt. They've taken some they got shot in the head by a sunblast. It doesn't kill them, but that's not good for his health, and it's done some damage.
Okay, this one may need to be brought up to sickbay for further treatment. I say to the security officer.
Understood.
I would recommend Biobed 3. You can resurrect a quarantine field there.
Okay. Are you leaving as well? Because I don't want to leave you in here.
Yes. The other 2 simply need thermal regenerators. Send a nurse down to take care of that.
Understood. So I
do have a nurse, right?
Oh yeah, you have a full medical team.
Yes, I was gonna say that to get like it wouldn't be a stretcher. What would it be?
Probably just site to site, right?
You could do site transport. A grab
okay.
sled would work as well.
I think site is a bit extreme in this situation unless they're like minutes from dying. I mean, otherwise, an anti-grav sled and restraints.
That's fine.
Cool. Then I call for that. Or I guess he calls for that. He's the doctor,
Yeah, I'll
right?
call for a medical team to come retrieve this guy and then to come treat the dermal burns.
I'll ask you for a presence medicine roll. Difficulty 2 to make sure everyone gets the treatment they need in a timely manner.
Okay. I know I don't have a focus for that. Can I use a momentum to get 1 dice?
Sure.
I'll use cautious to reroll that 0.
Ah.
Well, 2 success.
Yeah, before long, you have nurses attending to people in here. Some start coming in here. This guy's put on a grav sled and secured in because the medical staff know that he's a prisoner, so they don't want him like suddenly waking up on them and jumping out of the sled. Never mind the fact he's injured; that also wouldn't be good for him.
Do you know how like science officers get a free question? Do medical officers get that?
Unfortunately, no. You'd have to spend
That
momentum
sucks.
for a question.
You
Okay.
get an advantage in med bay.
Okay. Well, in those scans, were any of these? Did any of these have that chemical present? That drug?
For the one momentum, I'll answer.
Sure.
Only the one in black.
Only the one in black. Okay. So
That's currently on the way to the med bay.
correct. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Before I move him, Thala, do you want to send security with him, or station security in medbay?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'll ask you for a present security difficulty 1 since he's unconscious. Just making sure you assign the right people to the job. There you go. So he'll get there relatively safely. I'm going to put a background on this. There we go.
I believe we have 2 more prisoners.
I assume you follow after him, Thala?
Yes.
Okay. We'll cut up to Magnus in his laboratory. I assume that's where he is. Yeah. Tamara, you see Magnus in the android laboratory, tinkering away.
I guess without any objections, I'll go ahead and set that up so that it is set up. The multi-lab is set up for that. Or the modular lab.
Mm-hmm. Well, the modular lab, last you guys talked, it was either going to be set up for the Android stuff you wanted to do, or it's going to be set up for the Simitia 3 observations. Because the captain was planning on doing a survey of the planet. So it depends on you guys. Because it can only be set for, you can only get the advantage for one of those things. In theory, you'd have like some labs assigned to both, but only one of those 2 tasks are benefiting from the advantage the ship gives.
Personally, I prefer the lab setup to help us scan the alien console because I feel like that's kind of the bigger picture here.
I don't know how much it's going to help because we have high resolution sensors.
True, and it's going to be on a waiting.
And it only helps if the work is done in the laboratory. It doesn't help just on doing research unless the character is in the laboratory. So
yeah, and since we can't move the console up to a laboratory, yeah, that's helpful.
Then we'll.
But we can deploy a science team on the surface that would give us an advantage, too.
Yeah, but you'd use momentum for that, not the laboratories. So yeah, we'll configure it for Android work.
Okay, labs, Android work. So I remember that we decided that. Boop, boop. So there are some labs that have been set aside in the across the decks, but most of the lab space has been dedicated to the android work. So there's actually some personnel milling around helping Magnus out with his work. Because I assume you're not doing everything by yourself as a one-man band. That's a lot of work. Or do you?
Actually, for Android stuff, unless it's absolutely necessary, it's mostly just me.
Okay. So Tamara, yeah, you walk into a rather large lab space with lots of devices and consoles and some Android, well, at least one Android frame upright. And Magnus, the only person in here.
Doctor,
He kind of looks up startled, like something's wrong, and he looks at you.
are you all right?
I was all right, and I think I still am all right. And I go to scan myself. Yeah, everything checks out. Then I start scanning Tamira.
May I ask why you are scanning me, Doctor?
Oh, I thought we were determining everybody's health.
I
I'll
asked
put
if
the
you
thing
were
away.
all right. I assure you, I am quite fine.
We can definitely agree that a fourth of you is fine.
Indeed. I would ask while the research on Shimatsu is going on that you suspend creation of another android body and at least not activate one.
So the other three are in like like they're turned off and like in a suspended state, correct? Or are they like constantly running?
They're kind of left they're running, but they're not in the room. Like they're in computer memory, so their psyches don't degrade.
Okay. Let me try to get some of the problems solved before we need to switch gears. You know, it's really hard to retool my efforts. So if I focus longer in one direction, I can get something. If not, I start getting rather useless devices and useless results.
I see. So then you will not be joining us on the surface of the planet to study the console further.
Oh yeah, I don't have anything up here that's that important. And I just like shove all of the Android stuff to the side of my desk.
Indeed, I'll be putting together a research team to head down to the planet within the hour. I expect you will have your things gathered.
Uh yes, I'll have many things gathered.
Forks an eyebrow. Very well. Carry on, Doctor. And she leaves.
Anything else Magnus does before we move along?
No. I'll probably have some equipment to get before we go to the surface, but I don't think I have enough time to really accomplish anything in an hour.
And since you guys have a bit of time, feel free to assemble a list and not worry too much about the momentum, because one, you're not under the gun, and two, you're kind of moving at a fairly lackadaisical pace, to put it that way. You're not rushing to get there quickly. I mean, you're getting there in the hour, but you know what I mean. You kind of knew there was a mission heading to the surface at some point. You just know you were going, that sort of thing. But all that said, whoops. Cut to Ray, and he has some time up close and personal. I mean, well, I guess there would be a security guy like somewhere in the room. I'm just not marking them because each of these brigs would have at least one guy in there. So there's one of the people from the surface and a rather irate Klingon in the room, Ray, and you can feel his malice at you, just focused, like he wants at you. Then again, he seems to have any malice against anyone who's on the other side of this force field, so it's not just you. Commander Ray? Commander Ray.
Goodness.
There.
I have a mic muted.
Ah.
So, in other words, he thinking, I want to get out of this cell and break skulls. I'm not particular about which skull I break.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So nothing unusual about a Klingon behind bars. Ours temperament.
Pretty much, yeah.
Excellent. So, how are we doing in here? Treating you well? Bed's nice and soft for you.
He glares at you. Paces back and forth in the cell.
Well, our friend in the other cell, has been and talking quite a lot.
Is he now?
Told us a thing.
I see. Is there something you're gonna tell me, Starfleet? We're
Well,
gonna
I am
cower out there behind your force field.
I mean, I'm the one full reign of the ship. You're the one stuck in the 9x8.
For now.
So, do you want to tell me what you were doing on a Federation listening post?
No.
Not very honorable little target. Kind of low picking.
You said it, not me. I suppose Starfleet officers are fairly weak. I should have tied one hand behind myself and given them a fighting chance.
Or pick a more honorable little target. Only cows ours go after science.
Starfleet hiding behind the teal collar. Typical. I suppose you rescued them personally. Oh, that's right. You're a commander. And your commanders are the cowards, sending other people to die on their behalf.
I personally sent a couple of your people to die from orbit. You're of the Reach. What are you doing this far in Federation territory.
That's none of your business, Starfleet.
You're in my sector. This is my business.
He grins. Your sector? Oh no, Starfleet. This is not your sector.
Just because you've been here longer doesn't mean that this is not under your control.
At this point, the doctor and Thala step in. Perhaps.
Perhaps, Gaps, if we can meet with our leaders and actually come to agreement instead of actually batting back and forth with little chess.
Fine. Send me on my way. I'll carry your message. We could see about parlay.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Because you see, we have you for the murder of a Federation officer. One of the men on the listening post.
Ah.
Which is going to be a very long and grueling process of getting you extradited to the Klingon Empire.
In that case, I don't think we have anything else to talk about, Starfleet. Besides, I think your pet cat and your pet Orion need you for something.
Step away from the force field.
Make me.
No, I step away.
Oh, sorry. I
I-
thought you told him to.
I mean, I could do a presence command roll against him, but I'm not sure if that's worth it. Well, that guy is very, very talkative, nor or amenable.
Did you expect otherwise?
No, I got about as much out of him as I expected.
Well, let's see if he'll submit to a medical examination.
Do you think that's a good idea, Thala?
Probably not, but it would be interesting.
And
How-
I can't scan through the force field, right?
You can. It'll just increase the difficulty.
It's up to you.
Okay. I'm not scared of him.
I'm certainly not.
No. I'm gonna get a hypospare ready for just like knockout, and I'm gonna hold it with my tail.
I'll have my phaser out on a heavy stun.
Please step away from the force field. I'm going to do a medical check on you and your companion.
Come here, kitty, kitty. He doesn't move back from the force field. He actually moves closer.
I see. Computer, increase force field sensitivity by 10%. Trying to give him a little shock.
It zaps him. He's like, ah! He backs off from the field.
Good kitty, kitty. Nice step forward. Let's start with the unconscious guy. There might be a reason he's unconscious. Okay. Lieutenant, whenever you're ready.
Ready?
guess we enter.
And as you bring down the force field, Thala, you're effectively started combat when you brought the force field down because he was waiting for that to come down. He wanted to try something.
Well, if you want me to move back, if I couldn't have stepped forward, I can move back where I was.
Yeah, you'd still be there. Yeah.
Okay.
I had to think about it.
I would probably be like right across.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So your first action was a minor to basically shut the field off. He looks like he's ready to do. He's gonna start charging somebody. Like it's obvious he's ready to attack. So you could shoot him with a phaser, you could prepare for him to do something, you could get ready to guard either the commander or the doctor if he takes a swing at one of them.
Well, I already know he's going to attack. That's all the incentive I need, right?
Yeah, he's making hostile action.
Yeah, he's getting ready to charge, and you kind of saw that as you're reaching to press the buttons, like, oh, I know what's gonna happen.
Okay, well then. I think I would relish some hand-to-hand. So I step forward and I take a swing.
Okay, it's gonna be.
I have a talent mean right hook. I'm not sure exactly what that affects.
It'll come into play if you hit him.
Yeah.
Okay, I do have a focus on hand-to-hand combat as well.
That applies, and it's going to be an opposed check. So difficulty is based on whatever he rolls.
Okay, so what do I select?
Daring security.
Oh, mean right hook
Daring
gives.
and not fitness. Okay.
Mean right hook gives gives you vicious one on attacks. So you're looking when you actually roll damage, you're looking for Starfleet symbol.
Okay.
There he is. He's gonna spend a threat. An extra die. Ooh, that's not great. Well, as a Klingon, he gets to re-roll on melee checks when he buys a die. So he's gonna re-roll that 18 because that's garbage. The 6 is one hit. The 11, 2. I think it is. It is. That doesn't fire his focus off. Currently, you're at a tie. As you move to hit him, he starts fighting back and forth with you.
Okay.
You can, if you want, suffer a complication to succeed. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I don't do that, what'll happen? We just go to another round.
Your turn will pass because basically he'll be fighting back and forth with you, and he neither of you really do any damage to each other.
Right, but I'm saying I could wait until my next action and then actually add like determination or something to it, right?
Yeah.
What would a complication do? I'm sorry, I'm cutting someone off.
Oh, I would never. You ask your questions. I was just going to give you some advice.
A complication, it'd be something like he rips something on your clothes, he grabs at something, or you kind of fall out, you kind of lose your footing for a second. You still succeed, but some complication on your end occurs. Like you kind of overcommitted to make sure you got the hit in.
Okay. And what was the suggestion that was going to be made?
With you have a security of 4 or 5? 4.
Yeah,
But
4.
you have mean right hook. There's actually pretty low chance that you're going to knock him out in one hit. So I don't think you should take the risk. I think he's probably going to attack you.
So I'm better off taking the complication, is what you're saying?
No, I think you're better off just letting it go.
Yeah,
because
just let the tie stay out.
To knock him down, you're going to need to do at least 5 plus his resistance. His resistance is going to be 3 because he's Klingon.
Okay.
So You're talking you need to do 8 damage, but you're only going to be rolling 5 damage dice. So the odds of you actually knocking him down in one hit are pretty low.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, okay. So I could let that go, and then maybe, like I was saying, spend determination or something next round,
You could just buy more dice.
or however it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still learning that aspect of it. So.
You know.
It doesn't matter who started the melee action. Whoever wins does damage. So if he attacks you, you could still do damage
Right.
to him if you come out on top.
Well, I kind of assumed that since he was rolling against me and he was saying that he didn't do damage then, but when he attacked, we both roll against. I kind of assumed it went both ways each action. So, and that's because it's considered opposed, I guess.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fine then. I mean, a tie with a Klingon isn't so bad.
Yeah. So the turn goes back to him. This is gonna suck for him because there's 3 of you and 1 of him. But hey, he's a Klingon. This is good. This is good odds for him. He's gonna take a swing at you, Thala, because you did try to hit him, and he wants to hit somebody.
Well,
He's
yeah.
gonna buy himself a die.
I wanted to give him what he wanted, and I figure the only real way to cow one is hand to hand. I mean, a phaser's not going to impress him.
Ooh. You're gonna want to roll at least 4 dice.
Okay. So I'm starting at a default of 2.
You want to spend at least 1 because you're bold security. You want to spend at least 1 threat to get the 3rd dice. I'm suggesting you spend another 2 on top of that to get the 4th die.
Those are spending what, threats?
Threat.
We're pretty low on threat and down, so I would risk it.
Okay, so you can only use 1 threat on a roll, right?
No, you can use up to 6.
Okay, so how many were you suggesting that I use?
3. But even if you use determination, I'd suggest you use at least 2 to get your bold security.
Okay. Would it be better to use the determination and 2 threats, because then it wouldn't give them threat or something?
You'd have a much better chance of succeeding.
Okay.
Like a really high chance of succeeding.
Now we have a group pool for determination, but we also have individual determination, or how does
we have a group pool for momentum.
momentum? Okay.
Individual pools for determination.
Okay, I was getting momentum and determination confused. All right.
Determination is a once a game thing unless special circumstances. Momentum comes and goes.
Okay. Oh, determination is the one you have to use a focus or a value or something. A value.
Yep. You have to value on that. That's kind of like your daily power.
Oh,
You actually might be strapped for a value.
Yeah, I don't see any values here that would really really work too well. So
I think the easiest way to probably go is the 3 momentum threat.
Yeah, I think that's what
I would just go for threat right now.
Yeah,
we don't have momentum.
You said 3. Suggested 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 threat.
And then you use like 4 dice.
Okay, so I changed the task roll to 4.
Yep. And you want to re-roll that 0, so set it back down to 1 because of your bold security.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, gonna be re-rolling my 17 because it's a melee roll. Nope, you beat him. And...
So bold security allows you to re-roll 1 fail. Is that what it is?
No, it allows you to re-roll 1 dice.
1 die
in general if you spent threat. You don't have to you don't have to completely spend with threat. So you can spend with momentum as long as at least 1 threat is involved.
Okay. Oops.
The opposite of that is cautious, which some other people have, and that gives the same effect for spending momentum.
Okay.
So now what you want to do is you want to roll your unarmed strike damage. To do that, on your sheet, you'll see that it's already worked out. So you just have to hit the little badge next to the 1 on your sheet under unarmed strike.
Oh, okay, down under weapons. Okay.
Yes. Oh, ow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Does that
9.
include the mean right hook bonus?
It does. So you see where it says vicious 1 in the quantifiers under
Yes.
the dice. Vicious 1 means for every effect you add 1 damage. So right now you're doing 9. Whereas if you didn't have that talent, you would only be doing 5.
Okay.
The other good melee one is martial artist, which for every effect it increases the difficulty for him to keep the other person from being knocked unconscious.
So yeah, the Klingon tries to close in, like as you're kind of struggling back and forth, and you're both counting each other really quickly. He goes right for your throat, and you kind of just grab his wrist, twist it, and then when he's kind of stumbling, you smack him in the head, and he just and he goes down and out.
Stop hitting yourself. No, don't say that. But I actually knocked him out.
Oh, he's out.
Yeah, so
Ow.
you only have to do 5 damage, and then the GM has the option of spending to keep them up or letting them go down. And it's the same for you too.
Okay.
And if they're a low level like frontline thug, they usually can't do that. It's usually people who actually have like a name or actually
Right.
have or a notable NPC. Usually are the ones that stay up. Your regular grunts don't stand after getting hit like that.
I understand. Wow, so 1 round to combat.
And you punked his ass.
That felt good.
Very nice, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
I see your recommendations were highly earned.
I appreciate that.
Doctor, if you could.
Of course. I'll start scanning.
I'll take a step back.
Reason medicine.
Diff 1, reason medicine.
Xenobiology or no?
I'd say so, yeah. Oof.
Just not rolling like I'm just not rolling it today.
I'll just take that as threat.
Okay.
Scanning the individual, you're not entirely sure of how bad he's hurt. It seems this person has some other medical issues that are complicating your scan, and it's you're not really sure how bad off they are. They're not dying, you can tell that for free, but you're not sure how badly hurt they are.
Okay.
Do you want to take this person to the sick bay as well?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
What about our Klingon friend here?
What about our Klingon friend?
I think he's concussed, sir. Sorry, no.
Just standard. See if there's anything else besides a concussion.
Broken nose.
Reason medicine difficulty 2 for him as well.
Okay.
And I'll take it as given that this guy's going to medbay because you guys already did it with the other guy. I'll make you check for that.
There we go.
Got yourself a momentum. Funny enough, it's like this guy was concussed by a blunt impact.
No idea where that came from.
Indeed. Very strange.
And he was some time ago. He was subjected to, and actually the other guy was too. I forgot about him, but they both the guys with the skulls over their heads were subjected to a anesthetizing gas. I think it was, when they were initially captured. So, but that's faded by now. They're not too bad off. The Klingon here seems to be under the effect of that drug as well.
Okay, just
Although
Klingon.
it's working a lot slower in this system.
Okay, so it
Because Klingon kidney.
right. Okay.
In fact, the Klingon's in no danger. If he doesn't take more, I mean, he's not, even if he takes damage, he'll be fine.
Okay, so he doesn't have to worry like the human does.
Yeah.
about the brain. Gotcha. Okay. He seems fine. I mean, what? Well, how do I treat a concussion? I don't know. Would that need treating, or is this just like
You'd probably have a nurse check on him and make sure he's okay.
right?
A few hypo sprays, he'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah, I give him.
Actually, as a Klingon, he might be fine. You can just let him sleep it off.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I know in a human, there's some stuff, but in the Klingon, I didn't know if that was that's a daily routine.
Yeah, that's just saying hello.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't they greet with headbutts?
Exactly. That's just a nice welcome. Okay, I'll send the nurse down to check on him later. But for now, I'm gonna go head to the med bay to properly treat those two patients. Captain, he seems like he's in fine health for a Klingon. I'll send a nurse down to check on his concussion in a little.
Find any more of that mysterious drug?
Yes, the Klingon does appear to have been dosed. However, it does not affect him like it does the human. He does not appear to be in danger of neurological disorders. If you'd excuse me, I'm gonna head to the med bay.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Well, interesting first day for us, Thala.
Indeed. Do you have any
Unfortunately,
more? I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, Klingon was less cooperative than and I would have liked, but we have a few leads on what the human gave us. Again, let's give him about 4 hours before we check in on him and see if he'll talk some more.
I can meet you back at that time. If you have no other need for me, then I will return to my normal rounds and routines.
Sounds good. Dismissed.
Bye, Captain. Commander, I'm sorry. My character would have said the right thing.
I guess both is applicable?
Yeah,
Both
because
are
you're,
applicable.
Oh,
you're a
okay.
commander,
Yeah.
but you're still the captain.
I'm the
so-
captain of the ship, but I'm commander over.
Okay.
Naval traditions.
Yeah, weird.
Weird.
It makes sense.
But you're dismissed, and I'm gonna head back to the bridge and check up just briefly on how close we are to the listing post. Yeah, let's get the listing post all squared away, and then head back to Smutsa Prime, and get our away teams underway.
Also, can I have brought this guy up, the guy who did have the drugs in the system, so I can monitor how it affects him over time?
Yeah, sure. And since Thalo got those security teams in place, it's an easy time getting him moved in, and he's not really up for resisting.
Yeah.
I would, yeah, I'll say as long as security teams are present, I'm fine with being moved to sick bay for monitoring.
Can I begin treating these two? And I have an idea for the human who has the drugs in the system.
We're gonna move. We're gonna call this a new scene as we move into the med bay. So you're gonna go down one momentum. This also will reflect that you guys are getting ready to mobilize for a away team to Simitsa 3. Oh, and Ray, did you still want that briefing before the away team went down, or?
Like an hour out, an hour from being down, we can have a meeting.
Okay.
So like just before we get down, I don't want to have a staff meeting.
Okay, I wanted to be clear on that. Oh, and as for the listening post people, I'll waive you getting there and coming back, but there's nothing to impede you from doing that. So you fly over, give over the shuttle, transport who you need, and come back to Zemitza. Because
Okay.
it's all within the same system, so it doesn't take you very long.
Yeah, we could do like warp 3 and get it done in an hour.
Warp, freaking Impulse, man, they're in the same system. If
But I
at
gotta-
Warp 3, you'd be there in an instant.
I don't know, warp 3. Well, yeah, it's the scales.
It's like
Numbers.
it'd be like going from Earth to Pluto.
Anyways, okay, so that gets done.
Yeah. We'll check in with the doctor and his patients here real quick. So you're doing treatment on these two.
The two unconscious folks.
I'm gonna call this a control plus medicine difficulty 3 to take care of them. And actually, sorry, that gets brought down to difficulty 2 because you're in med bay right now.
Okay. Do I have a focus here? Xenobiology. That's all that I think would be applicable.
I take it out of
Not doing
complication.
surgery, so it's not an emergency, so no. What does complication do again?
It raises your complication range from 1 to 2. So when you roll
So-
deep,
So
increase
instead
your
of
chances of
19,
rolling a
20.
complication.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
effectively on a die, instead of a natural 20, complication would be a 19.
Sure. Yeah, sure. And difficulty 2. I got it.
And double checking something here real quick before I forget. Oh, whoops. Oh well. So between these two, they seem to be. You're able to treat them fairly fine. They're stable, if nothing else, and they'll probably need some bed rests. In theory, you could wake them up if it was required, but they could just normal procedures to let the people recover naturally on their own once you've done as much as you can on your end.
Right, that makes sense. Then I have an idea for our little human friend. So, do I know how long he has before he starts suffering brain damage?
Not really. That you've identified the drug, but you've identified that he has a drug in his system and what damage it's doing. But it'll take more examination of the drug to determine exactly how it works, because it's not a drug in the database.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to start that process then.
You'll have this is an extended roll. You'll have enough time to do one roll before the briefing happens.
Okay, sounds good.
Let me figure out exactly how hard this should be. Whoops. Works better if actually. Yeah. And we'll say this. So that will be, it's going to be extended task, work 5, magnitude 2, difficulty 2, resistance of 1. So I need from you a reason medicine roll. assisted by the ship's computer plus medicine.
Okay, do you have a focus here? Xenobiology, medical research, investigative techniques.
I'll give you medical research.
Sure. Okay, and I just roll like a normal thing. Complication 1, 2 dice.
Yeah, unless you're buying more dice with threat or momentum.
I don't want to waste. I don't want to use the last momentum. What's difficulty?
2.
I'll use it. Maybe I'll get another momentum actually. And there we go.
Okay, so 3 momentum back. So now what you roll is I need 7 challenge dice from you to see how much progress you made in the extended task.
Okay.
Is there any the one? Okay. Do you have to spend before resistance, or can you spend after? Or get
Say
piercing?
again, you broke up.
Spend and momentum after you roll the challenge dice to get piercing. You have to call it before.
You can do it after.
Okay. Because it might be worth it to get the 1 momentum to get the extra work, but let's see how this goes.
Did the ship get one?
Oh, ship hasn't rolled. You're right.
Maybe that can get us another momentum.
Computers plus medicine.
Nope.
Nothing.
Okay, so just 7 challenge dice.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're currently looking at 4 work. Do you wish to spend momentum for rerolling or piercing?
What does piercing do again?
Gives it can pierce through up to 2 resistance per if you spend at least 1 momentum for it.
How much is it for a reroll? I
1
think
momentum.
spending 1 momentum
And-
for to reroll the 3. Can we do that, or do you have to reroll the whole set?
You can reroll all as many as you want in extended.
Oh, so you can choose what you reroll. Okay, I'll reroll the 3 zeros then.
Okay, that's 1 momentum gone.
Much better.
Perfect.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8. You got at least 1 breakthrough, and you went through the work track. So you actually got this extended task in 1 go.
Nice.
And I'll send you the details here momentarily. But first, is there anything anyone else wishes to do before the meeting, before the briefing?
It depends on if we have spare time, which I think we have so little time. I'm really busy just making my normal rounds and such.
You do have some time, so you could do a check of the ship if you like.
Yeah, sure.
Give me. We're gonna say Insight Security difficulty 2.
All right. Security.
So yeah, you go about the ship, make your rounds, and wow, I can't spell the name of the ship. There. So you have an advantage created of all's well aboard the ship, as you've thoroughly checked over the security of the ship, and everything seems fine. Everyone's where they're supposed to be, nothing's compromised, and you're up to date on how everyone's doing security-wise.
All right, that's what I want to hear. If I have any other time, where were they headed? It was a specific planet.
Yes, they're going to the surface of Sumitsa 3. It's where they
Sumitsa
captured
3.
It's where they captured the people and found a alien console.
If I have, I mean, I'm sure there's resources for this. If I'm not familiar with that planet or whatever, if I have time, just a cursory reading, learning a little bit about it, that kind of thing.
Sure, I'll have to shoot you the notes I have on it, because I don't think the commander restricted that information or anything like that.
Well,
no, in fact, that's
sorry.
no. In fact, that's part of what the he was to get all the staff, new senior staff, on the same page. But yeah, you can read up before.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, even if it's just general publicly known information is fine too. But if it's something that's written up like you just sent me, so much the better. So this isn't like a planet that has its own native inhabitants and history and such.
It does. The inhabitants are a pre-warp civilization that are scavengers, and they move around the planet to different high-tech ruins, and they pick them apart, and that's how they've advanced. They don't really discover things. They don't really invent things. They discover and learn how to use things.
How do those things come to them?
That's unknown.
Oh, okay.
Zimbutsa 3 has been under observation and under Federation protection for a few decades, but it's never been. This is the Artemis is the first ship to begin any sort of in-depth research beyond the listening post. And the listening post job is mainly to tell people, go stay away, protected planet.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, if what you sent me is all the pertinent information, then I'm satisfied with that.
And if there's any other information that you I'll have it as a given that if you ask me later questions, there's some stuff that you would just know because that's stuff that was discovered before.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it wouldn't even have to be anything classified. I mean,
Yeah.
Even if he just goes to the future version of Wikipedia or, whatever, or somebody wrote a book about it or something. It sounds like what you're saying. Not many people have really explored it for anyone to have really written much about it. So
That's what we intend to fix.
Magnus, Tamara, any preparations either of you two are doing before the meeting?
Getting the science teams ready. The problem is, though, there's really no science equipment to take down. So
There's a couple of things like a whatchamacallit, the
spectrometer,
mass spectrometer.
Yeah.
The thing is, I didn't intend on bringing it because it doesn't
make sense.
I don't think we didn't encounter anything that suggested foreign materials. It definitely was weird. Well, no, it was definitely weird, but it wasn't made out of components that we couldn't identify as far as we looked, I thought.
Suppose. But yeah, that's all. Other than the science team for the advantage, that's about it.
Now, I'm going to go ahead and add mass spectrometer to the list because I feel like we're a little unsure.
Commander, anything you're looking to do before the meeting?
Along with the science for the console, I wanted to get together xenoanthropology meeting. I plan on seeing them aliens. We're gonna Naruto run into their culture.
It's horrible. It doesn't make you run faster. Scientifically, it doesn't.
It does when I run around in my backyard when no one sees me. And I have no video evidence, but believe me, that's how it works.
You would have to be going so fast that other effects would go first. But for a regular human being, pumping your arms actually helps more than being streamlined.
And so we will cut to the briefing room. See if I can find where I put it. Okay. So you're all gathered in the briefing room after a bit of each of you have done your individual tasks and preparations.
As I'm coming in, I'm gonna walk past the doc. Oh, I don't think we've met.
I don't believe we have. And you are?
Dr. Magnus, Dr. Albert Magnus.
Ah, Doctor. It's very nice to meet you. I have read your cursory glance at your file. It's very nice to meet you.
Oh, you wouldn't have access to that, so that's fine. And I kind of shuffle around in my bag. I thought you could use this, and I kind of take it out and I look at him and I'm like, I don't know. Here, try it anyways. It's a new it's like a laser shaver, but I removed the laser and it uses a transporter now. Very, very new, very interesting. Try it out sometime. And I walk to my seat.
Where does it transport? Never mind. Thank you?
Interesting. Anyways, let's all I'll sit down and get this meeting started. So, we have several things on our docket. We have the Scream of the Reach reaching this deep into Federation and territory to do some illicit activities on 3. We are not sure or who's we're not sure what their goal is or what we're not sure what their goal is, but I have a feeling that has to do with the alien culture on the planet, alien console. We also have the Sumutsun culture, which has exhibited its strange behavior in being pre-warp civilization with some technology, but the civilization itself seems to be mostly nomadic and scavenging. I have a hunch that the present culture and the presence of the alien console are not coincidences and in fact working together. So I want the science engineering departments to be working on the console itself while myself and security each team send a xenoanthropology team into the Simonson culture undercover to see if you find any historical records that could collaborate where this console might have come from. Are there any questions? Don't all at once.
I was going to say, I think that must be a no.
Okay. The Tamara, you're going to be heading up the console team. Tamara, you're going to be heading up the console team. I'm going to send you down. First, the rest of us are going to stay on the ship for 24 hours and do aerial scans before we send an away team down to the Simonson campsite, to say the least. You're all dismissed.
I exit.
Yeah, I'm gonna head back to sick bay. I've gotta figure out how to wean off a drug addict.
I presume Ray, Tamira, and Magnus file out as well.
Yep, I'll head to the
Yeah.
bridge.
Okay, did I clean this up already? I did not.
Those are our mission parameters. Let's get to it.
Do. So here is the planet scan of Zemutsia 3. And below is the cavern system within the where the console is. So I believe Tamira's going to the cavern system.
Yep.
You brought along a science team.
I believe I'm going with.
Okay.
So our main goal is just to get the thing back.
No. I kind of wanted to study it more to figure out who built.
Yeah, studied the console more, figure out who built it, when it came down, what it does, who's on first.
No. Who's not on first?
Didn't we get the answer to who built it already?
I don't think so.
I had some questions that I got to ask last time, or we messed around a bit. I don't remember if I saved those answers anywhere. Because we tried to access some other stuff.
You actually have all of it in the video log from last episode.
Oh, yeah. It's lost to time and space.
Dr.
I
Meredith,
know we
so much
were able to connect to another planet, but I don't remember if it told us who built it.
I think we just got to the point where we realized this console was to the gateways, that there was like 132 gateways scattered throughout the galaxy, the nearby
Functional
sector.
gateways.
Partial.
It's 134 gateways in the galaxy, and there's 3 gateways in the local region. The gateways only respond to thought and is affected by observation and mental interaction.
So you guys head down to the console.
Yeah.
I think probably while Tamira does initial investigation, I'll look into the communications device more. No business, no reason in us looking at the same thing at first. But I mean, they're in the same cave, so it's the same area.
All right. Who wants to go first in their investigations? And you can both assume that the science team will help you with the science roll. There's probably some people with you, Tamira, some people with you, Magnus. Actually, I'll even go as far as to say this, like that, because it makes sense. There's multiple people.
Oh, you're nice. Ed made me spend multiple momentum for everyone to have a security team with them.
I'll just start. I feel like I've learned most of the information, so I'm gonna start just dismantling it to be like moved and then reassembled back on the ship. And if I learn anything in that process, that would be.
Just say control engineering difficulty 3 to pull it apart and learn something as you're going along, rather than just pulling it apart in the most destructive manner possible.
One threat.
Sure.
Xenotechnology.
Yes.
Oh, it's a difficulty 3. I'll go ahead and give you 2 more threat.
Okay.
Consoles can't blow up in our faces unless we spend threat.
Or you could do
Surprised
that.
how
That's
much
fine.
red he burned through with that Klingon.
So yeah, you're able to pull apart the device and determine how it functions. You even have it all scanned and cataloged, so you could examine it later, even in a hollow suite, and even take the parts with you back to the ship.
Did I learn anything I didn't know about its function, or did I just learn basically how to build one?
You learned largely how to build one. This is a modification of a Tellurian style communication relay. And it's the sort that you'd have in a ship. It's not usually something you put on a planet, but if the way they redesigned it, and programmed it, it can work for that purpose. Although you do know that, and this is a refresher, because I think you knew this already, but that the security feature of it shocking people who approached it, that's something that was added after the fact. That's not something it normally can do.
Yeah, I have the It has something to do with the Samutsa. I think it was modified or built by them. I don't know. I have that in my thing. Subspace pulse detected. It's interfering with electronics. Something for free. It's Samutsa.
What was causing the extra weird pulse is that the console here was the interface that was pulsing through it, so it was actually amplifying it in a weird way.
Oh. Okay. There's nothing really else to learn then. I'll go assist Tamira. But I guess Tamira would have been working for a while before I got there.
So Tamira, you have the console with its many interfaces still displaying as they were last left.
She would just type in the console, like information on like who's your maker.
Maker is those who have always been.
It went to the Dr. Magnus School of Informing.
That's very guarding forever type mentality.
Can you try checking that? See if the translation approaches anything like Iconian? Like if that's a common phrase that Iconians would refer to each other as, or we know that kind of thing?
The Acunians used a completely separate dialect, at least judging from the Enterprise D logs. Color patterns
Not
and
not to
various
mention
interfaces.
that Iconians were biological at one point.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah. So that's, since it's not using light, we're not going to be able to compare it to what we know the Iconian, like dialects and languages we know that the Iconians have used.
How long ago was the construction? Or your construction?
I believe I answered this before, so if I said something different before, I'll correct myself later, but I believe it was
I don't think you did.
2,000 years ago. If that's not the exact number, I think it was quite some time ago when this console was built.
I believe all the consoles are linked. So I asked that last time.
Yeah, they were linked. We just couldn't access one from here. And we
Right.
probably can't even do that now that I disabled the communication device and packed it up.
The communication device was with the other people.
I thought
the
the
Scream of the
communication
Reach,
device.
the beacon, was with the
Yeah.
Screams of the Reach.
Oh, I thought it was amplifying this thing we're looking at here.
Other way around.
Oh. Wait, so this was amplifying the beacon that I just disassembled?
Yes.
Oh. If we don't have a whole lot of other questions, I want to do to interface with it, and I want to see if I can start asking it, or interacting with it, basically using it as a calculator for very complex engineering equations, and see if I can get it to solve engineering problems in a way that I've never seen or heard of them being solved. I don't know if it can do that. But it seemed like it was pretty versatile. Like it could do pretty much anything I asked it to do last time. So
What are you trying to get it to solve?
I'm going to start with problems I know the answer to and see if it can solve them in a way that's different or faster than I know. Like how you would assemble a complex starship or something, and then move on to things like things I don't know how to solve and see if it can solve them. I just want to see if it's super good at if this is like a supercomputer or if this is something much simpler than that.
I'm going to call that a Reason Engineering Difficulty 3 test.
Dang it, because testing a theory, it has to be this episode, so I haven't got that yet. It's already 9:33. I'll spend a determination on critical analysis reveals all.
Sure.
And 1 threat. Or 2 threat.
2 threat? Okay. I was going to say.
Oh, that did proc a focus, and I should have asked first. Does Xeno technology work here?
Yeah.
Okay.
That mattered. Not really. Oh, you said yes to it. Never mind. Yeah. So, 1 momentum gained.
3 momentum because of determination.
Oh, right. You determine you're maxed out. You've determined this thing is uses far more advanced technology and engineering. That's and so it does everything a lot better. It's at a higher tech level than you are. You're able to understand it, and it comes at, and most of its theory is coming from, it answers your questions always at a weird angle, but you're able to piece together what it's getting at, what it's driving at. Mainly because it's translating its language. If it comes to a word that it can't translate directly, it'll do something like "those who have always been." Like there's a proper name for that, but that's it translating the meaning to you. So it does that again in engineering, like that which folds, that which has great gravity, and it's like, oh, you mean a black hole, things like that.
I'll take notes on how it's solving problems, I guess, to use or to study later.
And actually, during all that, you do determine that there seems that a lot of the solutions it presents says that you would need, especially for the high level stuff you're asking, like you're asking like theoretical impossibilities from it, and it says theoretically possible but requires use of Foundry. And that comes up a lot. Like there's a few things where you could replicate it or you could do it, and it tells you roughly that's how you could do it. But some stuff, it's not. If it's a mega construction or something really strange, it says you have to, can be done, refer to Foundry.
Can I ask it? Can I get specs for a foundry or look up what a foundry is mechanically?
Foundry is Foundry. Foundry is a. And actually, I'll make you spend a momentum for that before I keep talking. Sure. Yeah, the Foundry is a large space station type facility that can create large, complex, and large scale devices. There's one in each sector.
Can I get the location of the nearest one? Assume it's not there anymore.
Sorry, each quadrant. I should specify. My bad.
Oh,
It would know better. Yeah, right there.
Oh, that's where the Scream of the Reach is from.
Oh boy. Well, I think I know where our next mission's to.
Any other queries or investigations of the console?
I don't have anything that are pressing right now. I mean, I have a lot of stuff, but basically I just want a supercomputer, so that's not really what we're here for.
I can't think of anything.
So while you guys are doing that, I believe the ship was going to do a scan of the planet, an observation.
Yes, an arrows their campsite, figure out where their situation, where they're situated, kind of get a closer view of the campsite. Try to figure out an approach angle, and also get a close look at their clothing and their physiology, so we can replicate it.
There'll be a recent science roll, difficulty 3, complication 2.
Real boy.
And to progress the doctor's investigation, before I forget, give me control medicine difficulty 2 on what you're up to there, Doc. As the doctor is currently trying to wean off the addicts from their drug.
I would hate to blow it this early. Well, is the ship assisting my roll?
Sensor science.
For me, would
Yeah.
that take the difficulty down to 1 because I'm in sick bay?
You're right, yep.
I'm gonna use a momentum, so maybe I can get some more.
A momentum spent.
Okay. And we get 1 back.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep. So what you're gonna do, Cap? Gonna try to roll it? Or you're gonna try to pull a support character because you sent your science officer on a away mission?
This sounds like a
What-
good time to pull a support character.
What role is this?
Recent science, but yeah, I have a secondary science officer.
Mine's 13 if you need somebody.
I think Nick's is like a 16.
To use that one.
And 15, yeah. Okay, so we'll spend a support to activate Nick.
Just so I remember, some people are up there. We gotta program these things to show their names. I'll have to worry about that later.
All right. And we're going to spend 1 momentum, give him an extra dice, focus sensor operation.
Yep.
That's for him. And the ship. What you do?
Nope. Got a momentum. Yeah, after some thorough scans, you have a pretty good idea of the people's appearance and clothing and whatnot. An up-to-date one, if nothing else. The additional complication came from the fact that the scans that the listening post has gotten over some time ago, these people have advanced a bit. They must have found something in the mountain they're excavating, and they've changed their appearance since then, like their clothing and some of their gadgets that they wear on their outfits.
Okay. I definitely want a detailed look at their gadget scanning stuff. What's the layout of the camp or the mobile city?
They have a central. They have like 3 rings, where they have a central group that has all the very. Think of it like a variety of transport trucks and SUVs and stuff, except they all kind of hover off the ground. And the bigger, more secure, more thick-walled, almost like flying tanks, almost, are in the center group where all the most valuable stuff is. And in the second layer, they have a lot more. They have not quite as heavily armored, but they're more for storing a lot of people or a lot of things. And it's not the most valuable stuff, but it's stuff that the civilization doesn't want to lose. And the outermost ring are people who no more than say 2 or 4 people at a time to like jeep-sized scouting vehicles. And that last ring can sometimes go as far out as if I can get an arrow here. So it could be out to even surrounding hexes, because they scout out away from the center city.
Okay.
But the 2 layers, they always have a center group that's always. This is a base, and they kind of move around every so often. But once they've settled somewhere, they kind of stay there for a few months and then they move on.
Okay, so it's semi. All right. Does there appear to be a caste system? Is there a free change of people to and from one ring to another, or is there like sort of like caste segregation going on?
Say again, sorry, you broke up.
Is there free movement from one ring to another as far as people and gear go, or is there sort of like caste system?
There's a hierarchy of sorts, yeah. Only certain people are allowed within certain rings
Okay.
of the camp.
And are there any like centralized meeting spots, communal, eating, bathing ground areas?
Think of it like a large camp or a large mobile camp. So there's various campfires, like communal campfires, as it were, or more like outdoor cooking areas or market or pop-up markets. So people will like set up little canopies away from their vehicles, like food trucks and whatnot, and then people kind of gather around those vehicles, especially in the third ring. That's where most of that happens.
Okay, so definitely some opportunity to rub shoulders. Here's a people. Okay. I'm gonna let the doctor on. I'm gonna check the doctor. I also want to check in with my security officer and ask for any recommendations on us going down there as far as security. So, Lieutenant Thala?
Yes.
Any recommendation on a first contact mission with the pre-warp civilization? Any security? Any recommendation? Gear everyone want to bring down?
As a player, no. As a character, would I have any ideas?
You can give me an insight security or reason security, actually. Difficulty 2 to kind of give them I'll put it 1. This is pretty common. So. Yeah, you have some rough recommendations where, you try not to be any more technologically advanced than the people who you're seeing. You don't want to carry anything that could be easily stolen from you and they could reverse engineer. So type 2 phaser is probably the biggest you want to walk around with, because you could hide that as something, like you could make it look like a gun or something else. Type 1's better because it's easier to hide.
Do we want to carry around type 2s? Those are generally bigger hits. Type 1, as he said, is easier to hide, but it doesn't hit as hard.
I mean, for Thala, the difference between type 1 and type 2 is not that big of a deal. For someone with a pretty low security, it might be more important. Like Thala would still be rolling like 6 dice for type 1.
I'll leave that general recommendation up to you. If we have the technology, I would like subdermal oh, transporter tags. I believe that's technology we have where we can just like tap our wrist and send an emergency beam out, but it's subdermal, so it can't be stolen so easily.
Yeah, that's something
Sounds like a thing.
you can have installed. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna want at least one tricorder so we can scan books and stuff. Uh, type. Do we want type or
Say again. You broke up again.
take two phaser? Everyone, yeah, I did from or Silicon. Walk down there, generally unarmed. Still breaking up.
Yeah, you did there.
Uh,
I think you were saying that you wanted to do a Type 2. You're thinking about using a Type 2 phaser for the away team.
I'm not hearing anything either. I don't know.
let me try resetting.
I can hear you. He's asking what kind of phaser you were thinking about taking.
And I also wanted to know if surface heard. We saw people walking around with rifles and firearms and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Only certain. It seems that only the people in the second or inner ring are armed. The scout teams have minor sidearms and for like the wildlife and stuff.
Okay. Could we gussy up our Type 2 phasers to look like they're armed?
You could, yeah.
Okay, what kind of roll would it be to gussy them up?
It would just cost you one momentum at worst.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do that, and yeah, let's bring Thala along, myself, and one blue shirt from Xenoanthropology.
Would they recognize that we're not part of that specific circle that carries weapons?
Um, hopefully, not. It looks like they can move pretty freely to and from, and we can improvise on our way down.
One issue though, you don't look like Zemutzians. You need some sort of cosmetic surgery to have that to not look like an Orion and a Betazoid and whoever the third person is.
Yeah, I was
Um,
thinking I might be one of the more difficult ones. I don't know what their size is, but
well, we're gonna head to med bay or sick bay now for some cosmetic surgery.
they're gonna shrink me.
Don't tempt me.
Does is he like that far outside of the normal size range of Samuthians?
I that's what I was saying. I don't know what their average size is compared to like a human or whatever else.
Among their species, he'd be considered especially tall, but not like a giant or anything like that.
Okay, so I would stand out a little bit as being tall, but I wouldn't stand out like ridiculously.
You're not mythically large to them.
Okay.
You have a glandular condition.
Yep. Okay.
Be a control medicine task difficulty 2 to make the away team look appropriate.
Can I use
A down one because we're doing this in sick bay.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use one momentum.
Okay.
Maybe I can get some more for us. I don't know if there's a cap on it.
Cap is 6.
Complication range is 1.
Is we'll make it 2.
2 success.
Yeah, you're able to disguise the away team to look like Zimitians. Zimitians look a lot like regular humans, except they have various markings along their what would almost appear like tattoos along the cheeks, along the jawline, and along the forehead. But they're not tattoos. That's actually a pigmentation to their skin. And all their eyes seem to be augmented in some way. With cosmetic surgery, you can kind of mimic that, so you don't actually have to have like cybernetic eyes implanted to look like
Right.
everyone else. You can just
Weird.
look like
I'll
you have
put weird-
cybernetic eyes.
I put some weird contact lens in. It's really uncomfortable, but deal with it.
Ow.
Yeah,
Ow.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, I have black eyes.
yeah. Skin tone has changed. Most of their skin tones are on the darker shades. It's they're very outdoor culture.
And
So
would that have allowed me to install the subcutaneous transponder?
yes, it will cost you 1 momentum to have those installed in the away team.
Do you want that?
Yes, please. I want to have a guaranteed way out.
Then here you go.
Having comm bashes if I could.
They're called subcutaneous communicators.
Oh, do they actually work as communicators?
According to the wiki, they do.
Sweet. All right. Once we're all ready, we're gonna beam down to the outskirts of the scavenging area.
One last thing on part 2 for free, because you would have figured this out between scanning them and having the surgery done and all that. These are people that are augmented as a norm. So it isn't unusual for them to have augmented hands or legs or augmented eyes. So these people, for compared to a human, as a human baseline, they're a lot stronger, a lot faster, and a lot more perceptive.
Are you talking like technically augmented or like genetically?
Technically augmented. They haven't really gotten the whole genetic augmentation requires them to sit still for a long enough time.
That's probably a good thing.
So we're all gonna be walking around with cyber eyes, or fake cyber eyes.
Yeah, fake cyber eyes, the
cyber
odd
eyes.
cybernetic hand, but it's not actually cybernetic.
Nah, it's just I just tore some stuff out of the back of a broken tricorder and glued it to your arm.
Ew, I feel like Borg.
And actually, for momentum, you can hide a tricorder into glove or other device. So it would work as a scanner, but it wouldn't look like a tricorder.
That would be useful.
That would be useful. Okay, since we're spending all of our momentum, but I'm trying not to. All right, so our advantages are we're blended in. We have the subcutaneous transponder, and we have a tricorder hidden as a glove. And we also have Type 2 phasers that look like local weapons. Excellent. I think we are all ready. Let's beam down to just outside the camp, and let's see what we can find.
So, real quick question. The captain's going down, Thal's going down, another officer, and then Tamira and the doctor are already down there, right? On the
The away
planet?
team's going here to the scavenge area. The Tamira and Magnus are at the cavern, quite some
Got
distance
it.
away.
So
Yeah.
I am the highest ranking person on the ship now. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, just you're in charge.
First
We'll
day.
keep in
Alright.
touch.
Very well. Good thing it's a slow day in the med bay.
The doctor says after going performing a rather complicated
It was
drug.
only drug tailoring.
We're gonna call this a control engineering roll difficulty 4 to beam down near their campsite.
Looks like I have to activate another crew support. Just burning through them today. All right, another crew support. We're gonna activate a Rekia. Control engineering difficulty a 4. And she has bold engineering, so we're gonna spend 1 threat for an extra dice.
Okay.
Difficulty 4. Focus and transporters, of course.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll just go with this. What's the worst gonna happen? We beam into a rock? And here we go.
Gah.
Assisted by ship sensor NG.
Angry DM.
So the weed team beams down to investigate the Samutian people. Lieutenant Commander Kamor, what do you do as the commanding officer of the Artemis?
I guess I'll leave the med bay in the capable hands of my second in charge. I guess somebody should be in the bridge, so I'll head up there. Very surprised because it's my first day.
Give me an insight command roll difficulty of 1.
Okay. Get 2 success.
Oh, there you go. That was con, but these are low enough rolls that it doesn't matter. Standing
My
orders
command
don't
is a
die, don't
2.
kill anyone.
My command is a 2, so that would have made it.
That would have made it.
Yeah.
Oh, would in the time it took us to get surgery done and stuff, would we have gotten communication back that the console's been there for 2,000 years?
No.
Nope. I don't know that. Awesome.
And actually, that's what the insight command is for. As Kimura, you kind of noticed in the log that the other away team has been checked up on for the last while, and you haven't heard from them.
Ah. Well. Bridge to away team.
As you're the ops person on the bridge looks over at you and shrugs. Oh, we're not getting anything back. I can try to raise them and boost the amplification.
Yes. So just give me a scan on their position.
They don't seem to be anywhere in the surface layer or near the ad hoc comms relay they had set up. They must be fairly deep inside. Although before we were able to talk to them, there was a device within one of the central caverns we were able to use as a relay, but it's not functioning anymore.
I see. Can you boost the comms using the deflector dish?
Yes, sir. That's going to be a, control engineering, difficulty 2.
Who would be a support person for this?
Oh, come on. The doctor doesn't want to do it personally.
What is it? A control engineering? I'm rolling an 11. It would not.
What's the ship rolling on this?
It would be something plus something. Communications plus engineering. Engineering. No, I'm right, aren't I?
Control engineering.
Yes, I'm
okay.
right. Communication engineering for the ship.
Um,
Of your people, I think Reika is
I'm
your best
looking at
engineer.
Reika, yeah. Would subspace communications work? This isn't subspace, is it?
Actually, this would apply because that's what you're talking on.
Yep,
Yes.
Reika would already be on the bridge.
And they get 2 dice like normal, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And she has bold. So
Oh. You gain a momentum. Away team. At the caverns, your comm just chirp.
Away team here.
Wait team, this is the doctor. You haven't checked in a while. We were checking on you.
Oh. Curious.
Yes.
It may have something to
Apparently
do with.
the communications relay has gone down in your area.
It may have something to do with that Dr. Magnus dismantled the beacon that was being used down here as a communication amplifier.
Ah, that is most likely a cause. I am to inform you that the captain and Lieutenant Thala have gone down to the surface.
Understood. Is there
Anything to
anything
report
else?
on your end?
Not at this time. We are currently making some progress, but rather slow.
Very well, I'll relay that to the captain. Anything further?
Not at this time, no.
Very well, we'll leave this channel open so we can maintain communications. Can
Understood.
we do that? Like, leave so we don't have to make that roll every time we want to call away?
Yeah, and the only reason you wouldn't do that is if you're worried about another species noticing that you're pinging a subspace signal. Like if you're worried about if you're in enemy territory, you wouldn't want to be constantly keeping a channel open because it gives away your position. But
Okay.
these guys are pre-warp, and it's been established that they don't have subspace communication technology.
Okay, so we're not worried about anybody listening in or whatever.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Away team in the caverns. What are you guys up to? You've been down there a while. You've had some time to examine the console and the surrounding space.
I think I'm pretty much focused on just getting the device back to the ship.
I can do a looker. I mean, I don't know much. How deep is this cave, or do we know?
Oh wait, which away team are we talking about?
yeah, we're at the cavern away team, not the camp away team. Thala, you're part of the camp away team. We need different names. Console, camp. Damn it, they're OCs.
Yeah, because we're gonna be checking with the camp team here in a second. There, Thala. You went with the captain.
For no particular reason, I would like us to be away team Omega.
And just to remind you, Magnus, part of the problem with removing this thing is that where it is, it's kind of built where it is. If it's removed, it will break down to its component parts in a liquid or a semi-metallic liquid.
Can I use it to show me how to disassemble it?
It tells you that there's a particular device that is required, and that device must be built by the foundry.
Can I get detailed instructions on how to do it using the foundry?
It lists off some instructions and what things you need to tell a foundry machine to do. And it also gives you instructions on what request forms you would put in to the relevant bureaucracy.
Can I follow this rabbit hole? Basically, every time it gives me an instruction, I want to ask it to describe that instruction in such a way that I eventually expand every action that needs to be taken into an action that I can take using the Artemis or using something other than a technology I do not possess. Basically, I'm going to follow it down the rabbit hole.
So Tamira, Magnus is now constantly asking the machine questions, and it looks like a rabbit hole of information. He's digging more and more and more.
Out of game real quick, didn't we establish that the device couldn't be moved?
Yeah, he's kind of finding there is a way to move it, but it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's not something that you can do here. You don't have the relevant parts to move. Although it appears Magnus is trying to find a way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much got everything that we could think of from it. So our options are like to go back to the ship or try to move.
I don't think we should try and move it, but
Oh.
Just out of character, has anybody asked it where the foundry is located?
Yes,
It's
we
on
got.
the
we
We
get
got an answer,
vague response.
but it is practically out of our reach for the foreseeable future.
because it's just outside of Federation space and right where the big pirate ship has been hanging out.
That's bad.
I think it might be the big pirate ship, although don't quote me on that.
Don't give the DM ideas.
Pretty sure it's the DM that's giving us ideas. Yeah, if we don't want to move it, then I'll just prepare to go back to the ship.
Can we beam them up without that relay?
We have to
Still?
be outside the cave.
Okay.
So yeah, she just informs the research team that we've gathered everything we could possibly gather here for now, and then to pack everything up, secure the site, and head back to the surface for transport.
Do you guys take back your ad hoc comms relay?
Yeah. Oh, the ad hoc comms relay was just like a tricorder.
And a comm badge.
Yeah, we
And you guys did establish a holographic blind that keeps people
Right.
from even seeing that there's anywhere to go.
yeah.
But yeah, you get to the surface without much incident.
The only thing I can think of is to put energy dampening devices down here, so that way the sensors obscure the console.
For momentum, for 2 momentum can have you do that, or it could be a control engineering difficulty 2 to have one built down there.
This is like a mundane engineering thing, so Magnus is gonna let a team take care of that.
I will spend the momentum then.
Yeah, that's what that sounded like. So now there's an energy dampening field that will hide this thing. So unless you know where to look, this thing there's no luck finding it. And actually, I'll even note it here that it's hidden. Ninja. Anything else before the away team beams back to the ship?
Nope.
Away team cavern, I should say.
Nope.
Okay, and you guys will beam up without incident since there's nothing really to interfere with your beam. Checking in with the away team that's still at the camp. So Thala, Ray, and a xenoanthropologist, are in the outer ring of the Zimutsian caravan. No one really saw you beam in because you were beamed out far away enough that you could easily find them, but not so close that they could see sparkly lights appearing in the distance.
Just in a trash can.
We just Metal Gear Solid our way in.
Exactly.
No. We try. What time of day is it?
Nighttime.
Okay. We, yeah. I'm gonna say let's gruff ourselves up, make it look like we've been working out on the field, for a while, and then we're gonna walk into the camp.
Okay, so you guys walk into the camp. You guys are when you guys approach the third ring, you notice there's some. It's late enough that there's searchlights on and there's guards milling around. And someone looks over in your direction and calls out to you. Who goes there?
I'm assuming we have a translator, and we check to see that the food's not going to kill us, right?
More or less.
More or less. Unless you throw it on threat all of a sudden, give us anaphylactic shock.
I didn't say that, but good idea.
That's easy to take care of. Don't worry about it.
We didn't come up with names for ourselves either, did we?
No.
We better really quick.
Based on the anthropological, on the high res scan, did we get a feed on typical names they have, or typical naming conventions?
For momentum, you could have.
Sure, let's spend that momentum. Yeah, we have typical naming conventions, and we can, because they have radio, we can tap into the radio and listen in. Hello. I am Drace Anon. This is Grace Orden and Dang Von Duel. We were caught out north of the camp when our vehicle slipped down a crevice. So we had to walk away back here.
Why didn't you drive it out?
The Jeep was totaled, flipped over, fell down a 200-foot crevasse. So we had to rappel our way out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you roll presence plus command. It's opposed. Complication 2.
Focus in persuasion or cultural studies.
Deception, more like.
Shit. Diffuse attention. Probably not gonna call it.
They're not at combat. They're not ready to fight you. They're just questioning why you don't have your jeep. That seems very weird to them.
All right, I'll spend a momentum.
So will they. Well, a threat, but you know.
Yeah, spend a momentum for cautious. Uh,
Oops. I should probably take that. Take
I-
it.
yeah, I don't suppose those tactics would apply as a focus.
No.
You sure we can't use cultural studies?
I'll give it to you with a complication, putting you up to 3.
It might be worth it. I have 5 command, so. What's the difficulty here?
That's opposed.
Opposed. If I use my determination, we don't have enough momentum for me to buy an extra dice, is there? Because we only had the one,
You
and
can give me threat for an extra dice.
okay, because I want to use my determination. There's always more to the story. I want to get into this camp so I can find out more about the story.
Okay.
All right, and give you a threat for an extra dice.
2
Threat
threat, you
and a
mean?
momentum. 1 threat, 1.
You don't have any momentum.
I just bought 1 momentum, and then don't I have to spend the determination dice first, and then I have to spend 2 to get the third dice?
The determination lets you roll. It rolls 1 dice for you automatically and gives that automatic hit, automatic crit. So you get 2
Okay.
successes off it. You don't have any momentum on the table.
Because I already spent 1 for an extra dice, but does spending?
Oh, you'd have this right. So you'd spend
Yeah.
1 threat to have that extra die. Right. I remember.
Okay. Because I want to roll 3 dice and my determination as well.
Right. Okay, I understand now.
And this is gonna be risky, but let's go. I'm gonna re-roll the 1. Boom!
Three hits on their end for your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3 momentum gained. It takes a bit of talking back and forth, but you discover that what's so weird is that they people around here don't leave anything behind. They're wondering why you don't have like the parts of the Jeep with you, and stuff like that. And then once you clue in on that, like, oh well, yeah, it blew up and stuff, you know.
Yeah, it blew up at the crevasse. We barely got out in time, and I wanted to come back and camp and get some extra people. Get back to camp before it becomes dark, and then in the morning, me and some other guys would go out and scavenge the rest of the parts. Sure, totally, that works.
Yeah, and they let you in at that point once they're satisfied that you have a good reason to be back.
All right, and is it like evening meal time? Are people in bed?
People are eating, some people are sleeping, but it's nighttime, so it's a mix of people doing things, people be awake.
All right, so I don't think they have anything like a library or school. Based on my cultural studies focus, is where would the next best place be to find historical information?
Recent science difficulty of 1.
I'm gonna next roll that, and I'm gonna assist him. Would Nexus focus in archaeology help?
I'd say no.
Okay. We'll just roll flat. That. And I'm assisting. My focus in cultural studies, or can I not use a focus as an assist?
You can, yeah.
All right.
Not that it mattered. But yeah, no, you find it from the investigations. Nix is able to determine that there are people who there are info brokers, people who sell information or have history tapes, that sort of thing, or even just finding people who like telling stories.
So orators around the campfire, or type stuff, or people we would have to barter with, and we don't have anything to barter.
Pretty much.
Let's look around, see if we can find an orator who's actually. Can I spend a momentum and say that there's some guy who's gathering around kids and say, "This is the history of our people."
For 2 momentum, you could have an orator. You could find one.
Okay, I'm good with that. 2 momentum. There's an orator telling the history of our people to kids, and we just listen in.
The long and short of it, the guy talks. It's a lot less. He tells the story in beats, more hero tales. You know, the tale of Lindy Primarch and his delve into the Great Vault. The tale of Mira Rene, who crossed the ocean to find the sunken ships, that sort of thing. These people seem to prize a lot of their history on all of their accomplishments are about finding difficult places that have great treasure troves of knowledge and technology. Once upon a time, they were a bunch of separate roaming nomadic groups that battled with each other and competed with each other. And it was in the last few centuries that they gathered into one large polity, one large nomadic caravan. There are bandits out in the hills. There are the odd group here or there, no bigger than 100 strong. That's why the big caravan sticks together to make sure that they don't get their things stolen from them.
So it's more of a collective protectorate.
Yeah,
They
and when it comes to some places, like this mountain is actually that no one's ever taken because the security in it is so dangerous and so advanced that it takes multiple waves of people going in to have any success. And sometimes they move the caravan to try a different angle or to support a different group.
but the security and the mountain, they seem to put it as a mythical sense. Like,
Yeah, the great precursors, the people who were before.
precursors, huh? Do I get a sense of how far back these stories go?
Couple millennia. They don't really keep it's more of the era of so and so, the era of so and so.
Okay.
But you can guess it's been quite a few generations, and you know enough about this culture that they've been around a long time, and to the point that they have a hard time remembering. And the storytelling is very vague. But you get the impression that the people in the crowd kind of know what he's talking about when he refers to the reign of Sola Zapal. They know who that is, and they know what time frame he's talking about.
Is it all children, or are there adults also listening?
There's some adults hanging around with the kids, some who are just there because they're bored.
So we don't stick out as being like the only few adults amongst a bunch of kids.
You're probably the only ones that look with any great interest. For most of the adults, this is old hat. This is, Arthur and his knights, Romeo and Juliet. You know these stories when you get old enough. But these people are you like hearing it because, well, you know the story, you know how it goes.
Sure.
It's
So
kind of
we
fun
should
to hear
try not to
scribbles.
look too interested in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, this is like a new story. How?
In fact, I'm gonna nudge Thala and say, "Hey, look around and see if anyone's eyeballing us awkwardly."
That was going to be my next step after seeing if we were the only adults in the area.
I'll be an insight
Insight
security, difficulty
security.
2.
I don't suppose I could and assist him because I'm busy trying to do anthropology.
You got it right in one. You do notice that there are a couple of guys with rifles. They're not in the group around the gathering. They're kind of at the edges, and they're kind of eyeballing. They are eyeballing the three of
Do they seem like they're just... When you say eyeballing, how serious do they look?
you. They're paying more attention to you than everyone else. It'd be like seeing an army guy with M16 staring at you in particular while you're in a crowd.
Right. Well, and being that they're on the edge and armed, obviously they're guards, I would think. Or their security, whatever.
Yeah.
So I say to the captain, yeah, there's a couple of presumed security or guard types. At least one of them is staring in particular, but I think if we continue to look kind of bored and disinterested and sit and chat amongst ourselves, so it looks like we're doing other things, I think that would be less suspicious than just suddenly walking out, you know?
I would agree. Let's hang out for another 5 minutes and then should we stick together or would it be better if we scatter, make it look like we're not a group?
Maybe 2 and 1.
Okay, you go with if next. I can and handle myself. Elf in 5 minutes. We'll split off and loop back around, meet back outside at the.
Maybe, well, if we're gonna split into 2 groups, maybe one group of us, whether it's you yourself or us two, should maybe leave first, and then the others leave a few minutes later, so it's also not like we're both leaving at the exact same time. We're not all leaving at the exact same time.
Okay. I want to confer with next. Is there any other hits we can and do any other places we can listen in on, or do we have to get some tech to start bartering for information at this point?
I would say we need to barter, sir. It's one of those. These people, their reader and listening culture. This orating thing's more of a pastime, a way to kill. It looks odd. It does look odd that we're listening in. If we're trying to learn this way.
So we need something in a trade.
I'm cleaning out under like cleaning out my finger. It's not thing.
Is there any kind of role I can think of? Would there be anything on the ship that we could replicate that we could trade and not violate the Prime Directive? Like, oh, here's a widget.
Just gonna out of character throw out we can replicate certain types of ores.
That's another idea.
There are 2 ways to go about this. Either it would be a I would say it'd be a reasoned science roll, difficulty 2, to determine something that is advanced enough that they'd care, that could be worth something to them, but not so advanced that you're breaking the Prime Directive.
Okay. And what's the other option?
Other option is, I believe Magnus has a roll ability that can have you that could apply here.
What are you trying to do?
We're
Trying
trying
to. Oh, go ahead.
we're trying to get some tech that we can trade for information, but something that won't leapfrog their air technology too much. So something of value, but not so much value that we break their culture. Close to the line, but not crossing over it.
What save for 2 momentum? I just happened to bump in and give to Thala a random battery design that I got from the Romulans. It should, keep one of their Jeeps running for, I don't know,
What's
a
that
year
quote I read?
without needing to
There's
be charged.
always a way around the Prime Directive.
Well, we also don't want it to be something that's so
I think
like
an advanced,
eyebrow raising that they would be like, even if it's still within their tech range, you also don't want it to be something that's going to draw a lot of attention as being really overly valuable.
I think the battery design will work.
Well, I said battery design. I meant battery. Like, just
Yeah. Just like, hey, here's one battery. See what you can do with it.
Yeah, it would be, since you only have one momentum on the table, you spend one momentum and give one threat for Magnus to activate that advantage for you.
I say let's do it. Magnus, it's your skill.
Yep.
Well, that's his roll ability. He just happened to have done that sometime earlier in the episode. He just gave you it's one of the random things that he hands out to people, and one was like, wait a minute, didn't he give me a thing? Yeah, this would work.
Yeah, we're at 2 threat now.
Oh wait, you don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Why didn't you give away the threat?
I spend threat to make sure you can do it now. That's not how that works.
Thala, you still have that battery?
Indeed I do, Captain.
Well, I'm sure our Magnus can make another one if need be. Yeah, I think this is more valuable as a bartering tool than it is as a power source.
I would concur.
So let's go find an information broker.
Do you think they might ask how we came about it?
I think it's reasonable enough. You say we just found it up north, or while scavenging for other equipment, and it would not be out of place.
All right, understood.
And GM, I'm assuming that is right.
Yeah, you can find these people find random widgets and stuff out there all the time. As long as you're not giving them something like, you know,
Here's dilithium.
yeah,
Here's a
like-
rope coil.
someone on the ship can roll, as they're looking for a person to trade with. They can roll a reason plus security roll, difficulty 2, as you guys are monitoring their situation. It could also be reason science, because it is a sensor thing I'm checking on. They are being observed.
Guess that'd be a Tamara thing.
Did we beam back?
Yeah, you're up on the ship by now.
Okay. What's the roll?
It's reason security or reason science, difficulty 2, as the ship is currently monitoring the away team as it's wandering around the camp.
Ship helping with sensor science.
Yes, or sensor
I
security if that's better.
believe science is the better. Sensor
Science is
operations.
better.
Sensor operations for a focus.
Yes,
Take a threat.
taking a threat.
Rerolling the 0.
Okay, gain of momentum.
It's literally the same roll.
And we also have hybrid sensors, so we get an extra question. Plus science officer, so we get a lot of questions.
3. Because I have studious.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a lot. You should have 4.
Is there a way to get 4? I don't think there is.
It's called cheating. So the away team very quickly finds somebody. There's tons of people willing to sell stuff all over the place. They sell books, they sell tapes, they sell videos, they sell holotapes, they sell all kinds of things. But they're trying to sell you all the latest news or the latest maps and stuff like that.
Shame I have nothing else to barter. They probably have some quite interesting books to read.
So, they want they're trying to hawk us the new stuff. If we want to look at the old stuff, let's go in and say, that, we're trying to find dig sites or scavenge sites, right, at a new direction. We're trying to comb over our old historical text, all the old stuff to see if there's different angles we can find.
Give me presence plus, we'll say con, difficulty of 2. You're trying to get at the good stuff because he's like, you want to make sure you want to find something, but you don't want to give away that you really want it.
Focus in composure, commerce.
Commerce
Commerce would definitely work. This is not a command roll. So
yeah, he's willing to sell you. Roll me 4 challenge dice.
4 challenge dice.
You find 4 books of interest to you. 2 of which actually seem to have some depth examinations on the people of the Zimitzian people. That he actually he kind of throws in like the 2 of them are newer and a lot more pop culture, if you will. And he's like, oh, I'll throw in these other 2 things as a bonus. Like he wants to get rid of them because he has like hundreds of them. But to you, they're very important because they're actually they're historical documents.
Okay. At the same time, is there any way we could do like a stealth scan and scan or record of books with our hand tricorder, or would it be a bit more involved than just waving your hand across the wall?
It'd be a bit more involved, but I'll give you the fact that you know that these people are somewhat technologically advanced. You scanning something wouldn't look weird to them. They would just assume it's a thing built into your hand.
Okay. Can we wave our hand and pick up like some other books or some other holotapes and stuff at random?
You scan a few. I'll let you reroll the other 2 dice. You're looking for challenge dice to pop up so you can reroll 2 challenge dice to hopefully get more valuable stuff.
I said 2. I forgot to enter. My bad.
So yeah, you have 4 important audio tape documentation that you can find, and collections of material that would be useful in studying the Zimitzians.
All right. I thank the man and for his trade. I wish him good deals in the future, and we make our way out. Thala, and Nakes, I want you to head north on this street. I'm going to hang out by this campfire for 5 minutes, head south, and we'll meet back at the transporter site in a half hour.
Aye, Captain.
And you take $2, I take $2, just so we can spread our load.
Meanwhile, on the ship, it looks like Tamira is examining her console carefully. Kamor, you and Tamira rank, but she has seniority. Magnus, you might be on the bridge just out of why not?
Well, she's a second officer, right?
Unless I'm needed, I'm returning to my work.
Wow. Okay, so you start heading down somewhere else. Oh, actually, away team on the away team, roll for me. Control plus security opposed to see if you shake off the people who were watching you. Someone just reminded me if that was an issue, and I'm like, oh wait, I didn't check for that.
Can I get a focus in tactics of shaking someone off?
Sure, you can roll an assist because Thala rolled the main roll.
Right.
Is Tamir the first
Oh, I'm
officer?
sorry. I thought we were making individual rolls.
One
Well, that
main,
works.
and then everyone else assists.
I didn't
you would-
mean to take the.
Well,
Take
you're a security officer, so you would definitely take the
Okay.
main on this.
Okay.
Yeah, you're able to shake off your pursuers. That answers the
Excellent.
question that the doctor asked. The doctor's like, "Are they being followed?" I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably check for that." Whoops.
So question.
Not anymore.
Yes, Tamara.
Did the doctor inform me of any sort of implants or discrete communication devices that the away team might have on them?
I'm sure he did. He probably gave you a brief rundown when you got back on the bridge, because then you would have taken command. She's the first officer, right? So she would have taken command, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he would have informed you what happened in your absence, effectively.
Okay.
You notice that the away team's about to split up and go different directions.
Operations, please signal the captain.
Commander Ray, you feel a vibration in your wrist.
Okay. I try to find a nice quiet corner I can answer.
Haha, the security guys see you. No, I'm just kidding. You shook them. So you step away and you're able to bring the 80s Secret Service thing. You bring your collar up to your face.
Right here. Right here.
Sir, sensors indicate that there is a raiding party advancing upon the camp. ETA is roughly less than 30 minutes. Believe there's around 130 individuals that are in this raiding group.
We're just about outdone here. We're gonna meet up at the beam out site in 15 minutes. Unfortunately, we can't do anything to help this campsite.
Understood.
Just beam us up, and we will see what happens. Ray out.
Tamira, give me insight plus con, difficulty of 1.
That's like the worst stat ever. Survival for actually I don't even know why, because you know what? I'm gonna use my determination.
Okay.
Insufficient facts always invite danger.
That applies, yeah.
made it anyway. That's 3 successes.
So you actually get 2 momentum. You do some quick calculations as to the beam, where the team is right now and where the beam outside is. As it stands now, if they don't leave immediately to get to the beam outside, it's gonna the raiding team's gonna be where the beam outside is, because they're coming in fast.
Captain, I suggest you up your timetable. If you don't leave immediately, you'll be caught up within the raid.
I just tap my comm badge as once for yes, 2 for no. I just tap it once, and I start making my way as smoothly but as quickly as I can out of the camp.
Commander Ray, insight plus command, difficulty 1.
Oh boy. Any focuses I can use? Cultural study, interstellar law, tactics.
Tactics, yeah. Okay, let me get a momentum out of it. You might want to tell your the rest of that you're leaving, because you split up. Remember?
Yeah, we split up, but I told them to head to the campsite first, and I was gonna hang out, for 5 minutes, so they should be 5 minutes ahead of me. But
Oh, I thought they were spreading out across the camp, not heading back to the beam outside.
no, I told them specifically, okay, you go to the beam outside first, going north.
Oh,
I'm gonna wait 5 minutes, and then head to the beam outside going south.
I misunderstood that too, so it wasn't just you.
okay.
But just for a story, I say, yeah, I would raise Thala and Nix and say, we have trouble incoming, and make it to the beam outside double time.
Aye, Captain.
So the 3 of you get to the beam outside, and you can actually see on the horizon the 100 so strong of these ramshackle. If you thought the scavenge things looked bad, these things look like the scavenge of the scavengers. And they threw together what they could, and they're coming in fast over the horizon as they hover over the tree line, and they're zooming.
Captain, what is it when you said trouble's incoming? What
That's
what
the trouble.
exactly is happening?
That's the trouble. That's a raiding aim party. Artemis, 3 to beam up.
And we're leaving these people to them?
We can't interfere. We're just here to get information.
It's gonna be a control engineering difficulty 3 for the beam out. I imagine someone wants to roll Reika for this.
Reika is active.
I got it. No more complication range.
Just 1, yeah.
Do we want to use momentum? What's difficulty 3?
3, yeah.
Do we want to use momentum
Actually, if we use a threat, she gets a reroll.
because she has bold, not cautious. So yeah, let's
Yep.
use a threat.
And ship
think
roll
she has
sensors
bold.
plus engineering.
And reroll that complication.
Agreed. Another 2 for her.
That's how we do it.
You max out with float.
Can we use that float out to say we beamed out before the raiding party can see our transport?
Yeah, that's a good spend actually.
They didn't see a damn thing.
On the bright side, if we wanted to, during the chaos, we can beam all the books out of that bookstore you guys were.
No, that's a bit more on TV than I wanted to. we have four books next for now. Let's go ahead and get this to anthropology and get studying on these. My skin's starting to itch. So
Is there someone monitoring the camp and what's happening now?
Yeah, the ship's was kind of in a monitoring pose as when you guys beat down.
I mean, I want to go if there's something monitoring it. I want to be able to watch or stay apprised of the situation.
I imagine the doctor was on the bridge with it like on the view screen, just like watching it like his TV,
Yeah.
watching you guys walk around this.
yeah, I
Well,
suppose
if that's where I have to go to see it, then that's where I'll go.
I suppose I'll head to the bridge, get debriefed, and go to sickbay to get on Samatsi end.
It would appear that the Zemitian raiding party it's a rather bloody and intense affair. The caravan seems to take it with a certain familiarity. They're used to being raided, but it is the group pierces into the third layer really easily, really quickly. Just because there's so many of them and they go in fast, and they try to pierce as deeply as they can into the second layer, trying to get to the more valuable stuff, because the outer layer is just where people are and like trucks are. And the caravan fights on fiercely. There's destroyed vehicles on both sides, and it's a lot of energy weapons and energy explosions, because they may be pre-warp, but they figured out the whole lasers and explosives thing pretty well.
I'm pretty much staring at this in silence as it unfolds.
I'm kind of alongside you, gritting my teeth
I
with
have P-
grim determination, knowing that I've made a terrible but the correct decision.
I have slight PTSD flashbacks.
Yeah, I wasn't mentioning it out of character, but pretty much the same.
Actually, I would pick up on that probably.
Oh yeah, you definitely pick up that I'm going through some mixtures of anxiety and anger and regret.
You probably just watch a replay of me getting stabbed in the chest by Jim Hadal.
Yeah, at least
I,
two of your crew aren't happy with watching what they're seeing. They seem very upset by this. I mean,
I
as
can't
upset as
get
most Starfleet are.
yeah, I can't and get specific flashbacks. I'm only an empath, not a telepath, but
Oh,
I could definitely tell you guys are not happy.
to
So
Medbay.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna say, okay, Doctor, you and Thala, you take Thala and go reverse the cosmetic surgery. I'm gonna stay up here and monitor the situation for a little bit.
Aye.
Farewell. I would recommend come down sooner rather than later. The pigment likes to stain.
I'll be there in a few moments.
And we're left finally with Ray and Tamira still on the bridge as the carnage continues.
Situations like this that makes me hate the Prime Directive.
Blame the Vulcans.
But I know it's for their better good.
That was out of game. My character is not even there right now.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to make that clear.
Yeah, I'm trying to have a moment with Tamira.
Sorry.
It is the logical thing to do. Each culture must endeavor to better themselves if they wish to survive.
My culture has more than a few wars in their history books. And I suppose this culture has a few more to write before or they finally reach the stars. But for now, we have a history to catch up on. I suppose you found out more about the console down on the planet.
Not exactly, no. It is a depository of information. You could probably use the console to ascertain more about the Zementia, as it's a recorder and goes back 2,000 years.
From what I can tell from their oral history, it goes back at least 2 to 3 millennia. I wouldn't be surprised as if the placement of the culture console here does collaborate with the Sementian. And do they have a government name? The Sementian Empire, the Sementian people.
The Zemitian polity.
The Sementian and polity moving to this type of government or this type of society. Keep me apprised of the situation. I'll be in sickbay.
Understood.
And I head off.
And the last scene we'll leave with is as you see some of the battle continue, and a lot of the crew is trying to find other things to do other than observe what's going on. But at least, yeah, you as science and the ops, between the two of you, you're both kind of keeping record for, if nothing else, for educational research purposes. You notice as you watch some of the Raider vehicles that they seem to have that sort of semi-fluidic nature that the console does. They don't look like metal. It looks like liquid metal flecked with a sparkling material within. And it seems that their weapons are hitting a lot harder than the caravan was expecting.
Fascinating. She's gonna. We picked up enough data from that through scans of that metal on the surface, the console. Is that correct?
Yeah, you guys did some pretty in-depth scans of it.
Can I do a wide planetary scan of that metal?
Reason science difficulty
Would you say? Difficulty
1.
sensor operations for a focus?
Yes.
Take a threat for the reroll.
Sure. All that float.
That's 2, 4, 7 questions.
So yes, as you scan across the planet, you notice there are various sites dotted across the planet that have that material in it. Some on the many on the surface, some in the ocean, some beneath the planet's surface,
Are
and
there
a lot of it concentrated in some of it within the center tanks of the main caravan.
Is there any that looks like it's been untouched? I'm assuming the ones in the ocean.
The ones in the ocean are pretty hard to get to. These ones haven't been touched very much. Because a lot of the deposits seem to be in mountainous regions.
Is there any power signature in the one here?
No.
I want to spend 2 momentum to look at where, I guess, have locations of like potential prime areas that we could extract or investigate.
This would probably be the easiest one to get at on the surface. This one you'd have to get through some ice, and this one you'd have to fire into the ocean and disrupt and possibly endanger the ecology of the ocean.
Is there any native population around the mountainous region?
No. Most of it, all of it's centered in this area. Even the raiders are mostly within like in these surrounding areas. Like they're following after the caravan.
At that mountainous region, what is the environment like?
Temperate, I'd say. Rough terrain, hilly, mountainous.
Curious why they didn't go that far out. Okay, I think that does it.
And as you're observing them, you notice all the material on the planet starts melting away. As a strong pulse of energy, some sort of subspace signal radiates out from somewhere and passes through the planet and the ship. And you can actually see a lot of the vehicles that are in the raiding party start just melting away like ice in heat, just melting away and collapsing and falling apart.
That's not good.
And you can see some of it starts to evaporate and start drifting off into the sky, not towards you, thankfully, but away from the planet, as if it's being sucked up to somewhere.
Can we get a vector?
Go on, Captain. It's your show, so go on.
It would seem that the liquid seems to be heading out of the system. To exactly where is uncertain.
Okay then. Anything else we can glean from the subspace pulse?
It seemed to be coming from here.
From where we know the foundry was. But where someone...
May I suggest we send a probe along with the liquid metal? Is that something we can do?
How fast is the metal traveling?
And as the crew tries to figure out exactly what they're going to do about this strange development, that will be the end of the episode.
Interesting.